Before we dive into the entertainment stuff, I just want to point out that it's not even 6:45 and it's light out right now.
Yes, it is.
We are getting there. We're getting there as far as the days being longer. All right, we'll start with this. Super Bowl commercials that you used to have to wait until the Super Bowl.
Not anymore.
To actually see them have started to be released. So let's highlight a couple of them for you. Friends, co-stars Jennifer Aniston, David Schwimmer reunite in an ad for Uber Eats. While Parks and Recreation co-stars Aubrey Plaza and Nick Offerman have a blast together in a Mountain Dew spot. So I think you're going to see this is
a lot of these sitcom reunions.
Yeah, these people getting back together for these commercials.
Uber Eats had done a good couple of commercials last year with Patrick Stewart. And I forget who else was in them, but they were very funny. Oh, was it Elijah Wood? I'm not sure.
Dude, anyway, I don't remember.
They were amusing, yeah.
The ads just come and go to me now.
And honestly, yeah, it undermines if the whole thing is to make a big splash at the Super Bowl. Last year, I think I'd seen everything before it aired.
Yeah. I'm honestly, they're and it's not like this is just happening, but they're making way too much of these commercials. As if they're all like, like the latest blockbuster.
Yeah.
There was a cue when I saw now, and they started it maybe last year or the year before. They're starting to make fun of the teaser for the commercial thing. And I forgot who made fun of it last year. It might have been Paul Rudd and somebody else, Seth Rogen or something like that. But this year, it is... oh my God! Why am I having? I'm having a
Ryan
brain
Reynolds.
fart. No. Hold on. Christopher Walken, and he's on the commercial. It's for a BMW ad. Did you see it?
I saw it. Everyone.
It's like a teaser for a commercial. Why would we even do that? Why is that even a thing? It's similar to that.
Yeah.
And so they're playing around with that now. So now there needs to be, in a couple of years, something that goes beyond that.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But anyhow.
There's only so much left you can pull out of this stuff.
During the Uber Eats commercial, a crew member hands Jennifer Aniston a bag that contains things like flowers and shampoo. And the Uber Eats said, I didn't know, the person who's making the delivery said, I didn't even know you could order this stuff on Uber Eats. Or maybe it was a crew member. And Aniston says, yeah, well, you know what they say, in order to remember something, you've got to forget something else and make a little room. And then they show her later on encountering David Schwimmer, and she doesn't remember him.
Yeah. And so that's the conceit that goes throughout the spot.
Meanwhile, Plaza and Offerman can be seen drinking Mountain Dew and riding dragons together in full Game of Thrones wear. I like the idea of that. Plaza told people they pitched me and Nick Offerman riding dragons, and it's like you just can't say no to that. That's the best April and Ron reunion that could have ever happened. Talking about their characters from Parks and Rec.
And that's all great and all, but just wait till you hear our commercials on Super Bowl day.
Wait till you hear.
They're going to be crazy.
All right, so those are starting to surface, and a few more will pop out today, and tomorrow we'll start.
Yes,
we'll probably see them all before then, which is fine by me. Holly Marie Combs, the actor who played Piper Halliwell as the middle sister on Charmed, alongside Alyssa Milano and Shannon Doherty, is sharing her perspective on the pair's ongoing feud. So Shannon had said some things about Alyssa getting her fired, and then Alyssa recently at a con was at a panel and addressed it, and essentially saying, I don't have the power to fire someone, that whole thing. So Combs took to Instagram to address the response to the claims that she got Doherty fired from the show. She said, in the spirit of not being the quiet one or the middle child anymore, I feel the need to defend myself after the many continuing attacks that have ensued since Alyssa stepped out on stage and essentially called Shannon and I liars.
Yeah.
She said, first off, this is not revisionist history. This is just the history she didn't want people to know about, and the history that Shannon wasn't ready to talk about until 1 month ago. We are all thankfully at the age where people are writing books, memoirs, and telling their life story. No one should have to lie about their own life or for the comfort of another.
So I saw a video of Shannon Doherty on stage just a couple days ago with Rose McGowan, who is also on Charmed. And Shannon Doherty's basically saying, I have this illness. This is the time, if I'm ever going to be 100% straight up and candid, this is the time. I'm telling you this happened. And Rose McGowan says, basically, I saw this happen.
Yeah.
So,
Rose has concurred with that, too.
Absolutely.
So Alyssa was maybe a bit more of a diva than she realized or likes to realize.
Rose McGowan hates Alyssa Milano.
Oh, really?
Despises her.
Wow.
Yeah, because she also sees her husband, who is some sort of Hollywood high-powered agent, as being complicit in some Me Too issues.
Okay.
That he just sort of looked the other way on.
Really?
Yeah.
They need to fight. They need a
I want to
physical
fight you.
in the octagon.
I want to charmed fight you.
Let's get them together and see,
I want to fight you.
see what happens. Speaking of stars of that era, Sarah Michelle Gellar spoke with Shannon Doherty on Monday's episode of her Let's Be Clear podcast, but this is totally separate from the whole.
It's all good.
From the whole Charmed saga. She said she was talking about working with Robin Williams, where Sarah Michelle Gellar was.
That was the last series he did.
Yeah, The Crazy Ones was the name of that. So it was his final role, and of course he died by suicide in August of 2014. She said she joined the series even though her son, Rocky James, was only 3 months old at the time.
Yo.
Just 3 months. Wow. Listen to that kid. It's amazing. He can say this.
You do the show.
She said, I went back to work right away because I was desperate to work with Robin Williams.
Who wouldn't be, right?
And she said, when the opportunity came my way, there was no way to pass it up. On set, however, she said that she was one of the few people that knew that he was really struggling, that he wasn't doing well. And she said, I soaked up every moment that I could with him, and said that a couple of people on set knew that Robin was what he was going through, and were very protective of him as they wanted to help him without spilling out the secrets.
The show was actually pretty good, and he was really good in it. She was as well. But yeah, it was so sad because he was going through that Lewy body dementia thing, which is horrific. For her alone, though, Preston, we talk about in the world of video games, when you get so lost in a video game that it takes over your life.
Yeah.
When they released the Buffy the Vampire Slayer game, because I was such a huge fan, I remember it was almost the Matrix. It's like it was blurred. I was so caught up in the goddamn game.
Yeah.
It's like,
when you have dreams about a video game,
oh yes,
you're playing it too much.
Yeah.
I've had that happen before too. So, Snoop Dogg and Master P are suing Walmart and Post Consumer Brands over allegations that the two huge companies sabotaged the rapper's cereal brand with underhanded dealing and diabolical actions. Didn't you try the Snoop Dogg cereal?
How is it?
I enjoyed it. The one that I got it was basically Fruit Loops meets Lucky Charms.
Some of that real sticky, icky. Ooh,
Yeah.
It was Lucky Charms meets Fruit Loops, which was better than both combined because Lucky Charms, the thing that their cereal part, is plain.
Okay,
right. So just imagine putting like really sugary stuff with the marshmallows. It was good.
Did you try the cinnamon because they have a cinnamon toast crunch?
I only
riff?
tried the fruit one.
So, in a lawsuit filed by the rapper's company Broadus Foods, that claimed that after they struck a partnership deal with Post, the company secretly ensured that, quote, Snoop cereal would not be available to consumers or would incur exorbitant costs that would eliminate any profit. Broadus Foods, represented by prominent attorney Benjamin Crump, claims that the move was payback after Snoop and Master P refused to sell their company to Post. He said essentially because Snoop and Master refused to sell Snoop cereal in totality, Post entered a false arrangement where they could choke Broadus Foods out of the market, thereby preventing Snoop cereal from being sold or produced by any competitor.
It gets brutal because there are wars over simple placement on a shelf. Yeah. And whether you're at the end of the shelf or whether you're at what they call the end cap. Yeah. I mean, it's an incredible amount of effort to fight for space in these stores. And so they can simply consign you to a part of the store where you're not going to be seen.
Yeah, well, where I saw it was at my Acme, and it wasn't in the cereal aisle. It was in
the wrap aisle.
It was in the wrap aisle. It's like, I didn't even know they had a wrap aisle. No, but it was closer to where the dairy was. And the only reason I bought it was 99 cents a box at the time.
There you go.
All right.
By the way, Walmart, they had indicated in this lawsuit that Walmart's system soon began to falsely show that the product was out of stock. The lawyer said, however, upon further investigation by store employees, each of these stores had several boxes of Snoop cereal in their stock rooms that were coded to not be put out on the store shelves.
I'm coming for you.
And they said, unlike the other Post branded boxes of cereal,
I want what you want. Cereal.
Around them. And these Snoop cereal boxes had been in the stock rooms for months without ever being made available to customers.
What?
So they're saying they had it. They just didn't put it out for sale sometimes.
What was your favorite cereal as a kid?
I went through phases. For a while, Quisp was my favorite.
Oh, Quisp was awesome.
For a while, Boo Berry was my favorite. And then Sugar Smacks, which are now just called Smacks, I think. And I don't even know if they make them anymore.
They do.
And, oh, man, there was another one. It was yellow corn puff type of cereal.
Pops?
Yeah, it was Pops.
Pops.
Yep,
Sure.
I love
Yeah.
those. Those were all my
I
favorites.
was a Cocoa Puff dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love the Cocoa Puffs. And as I got older, Frosted Mini Wheats, and then Cheerios. And now I do the Kashi, yeah.
I went through a Frosted Mini Wheat phase for a while, too. I loved those. But now it's all almond and...
yeah.
Honey
vanilla
bunches
almond.
of oats.
It's vanilla almond
With good stuff.
From, oh, man.
Is it Kashi?
Special K.
Oh, Special K.
Yeah, it's yummy.
And does it has nuts in it too, right?
Yes,
Almonds.
almonds.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Almonds
Yeah.
are nuts, right?
I meant
Ball sex.
Yeah,
no,
testicles.
No. It's like
And it's got testicles.
like granola, like chunks of granola, kind of.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It's not that?
in that one. No.
Oh, all right, okay.
Yeah, but there
Clusters.
are plenty of them that are like that. Clusters.
Yeah.
That's it. Thanks.
Cluster sting.
Yeah.
Ding.
Wait,
Thank you.
I eat sugar honey testicles.
And why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
With a name like that, please.
Ball sex are yummy, guy.
This is true. We have learned that. All right. So
Ball sacks are yummy.
we tried to see if we could get a cereal
Ball
made called Ball Sacks.
Dude, that would be great.
We had no takers.
Almost like the Kool-Aid guy.
Yeah, totally.
Guy
That's
comes
what
running
it's
through
about.
Let's contact Snoop and Master P.
Yeah, Ball Sacks.
Yeah.
Here,
Big old
hit
bowl
that
of
ball sex.
sacks.
They're yummy. The yelling one.
Ball sacks are yummy.
That's where that whole thing came from.
And a huge hairy testicle blows through the wall.
All right, somebody get to work on that. Get us a cereal company, the Presidency Ball Sacks for breakfast. We'll absolutely work with you on
And we
that.
will endorse it, and we'll stand behind it.
Yep. So let's see what else we have here. There's some garbage.
Nothing good?
No, I mean, there's some. I'm just trying to sift through it all. How about this? Felicity Huffman told The Guardian in an interview published on Monday that she is still processing the whole college admissions scandal after spending 11 days in jail in 2019.
Some hard times. She came out a different woman.
She said, I walk into the room with it. I did it. It's black and white. She said, I'm grateful to be here, but how am I? I guess I'm still processing. She said, I did a pilot for ABC recently, and that didn't get picked up. It's been hard, sort of like your old life died and you died with it. I'm lucky enough to have a family and love and means, so I had a place to land, she says.
She was in there. She had to kill another con with a door handle. It got bloody.
Whoa.
It got bloody.
I think she's just saying that career-wise.
She's a little bit like kryptonite now,
Yeah.
and people don't want to bring that up. But I think that will change.
Yeah, it'll take years, but it'll change. Keanu Reeves spoke with Entertainment Tonight about his late John Wick co-star Lance Reddick
Loved him.
while attending the Saturn Awards recently. Reddick died of heart disease at the age of 60 last year. He said he's such a remarkable person and such a remarkable artist. You can see over 25 years he gave such amazing performances in groundbreaking television shows.
We got to have him on the show for an interview, and he was terrific.
He said he did voice, he did animation, cinema, television, video games. He did it all. And he got a little choked up, and he said, obviously, he passed away too soon.
You know, it was terrific. He got to really step out from behind the concierge counter in John Wick 3 and have his badass run. It was very cool.
Jonathan Majors was scheduled to receive his sentencing yesterday after he was convicted of assaulting his ex-girlfriend in December. However, Variety reports that his sentencing will not take place on April 8th, so they push it out. This comes after the actor's legal team filed a motion to set aside the verdict, so they're pushing it a little further out. I thought this was kind of interesting. Batman Begins, the movie, could have had a very different take on its villain. Following a screening of Oppenheimer last weekend, Robert Downey Jr. revealed that he lobbied director Christopher Nolan to play the part that eventually went to Cillian Murphy. He said, I'm pretty sure that I heard there's this role, Scarecrow. And I was like, I am Scarecrow.
Yeah.
It turned out he was Iron Man. But he says he eventually met with Nolan, but it didn't go that well. He said, I remember meeting for tea, and I was like, he doesn't seem like he's really leaning in on this interview. He said he was polite and all that, but I mean, you can tell when someone is kind of like, it's not going to go your way. He ended up casting Murphy as Dr. Jonathan Crane, the Arkham Asylum doctor transformed into the Scarecrow in the 2005 film. So he said that it felt like to me that it was correct and right that it should be Christian Bale for that part, for talking about Murphy, because he initially Cillian Murphy wanted, but he had auditioned for Batman as well.
Yes, yeah.
He wasn't right for Batman.
The footage exists. Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
but a lot of those people that end up in these movies had auditioned for another role in that film.
Yeah.
I mean, like The Godfather. Remember in The Godfather 2, De Niro, there's footage of him auditioning in The Godfather 1 as Sonny.
Yes.
And it's pretty cool to see him delivering those lines that James Caan ended up doing.
Right.
And so there's footage you can find of people that wanted this role, but they ended up getting this other role in the same movie.
I can handle things. I'm smart.
Can you imagine him as Fredo? De Niro as Fredo?
It couldn't quite work.
I don't think so.
It's so interesting in that trilogy because they're all, great movies. But I think the one I enjoyed watching the most was Batman Begins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved Dark Knight was great. And
A
obviously,
masterpiece. Yeah.
Joker and everything,
Yeah.
that was a whole nother level. But that first movie was really, really, really good. I agree. So, how about this? Baby news, Bachelor alum Nick Vial.
Yeah.
Vial, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Is welcoming his first child with his fiancee, Natalie Joy.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So the pair shared photos of their newborn daughter,
They're just like us.
River Rose Vial, to Instagram on Monday.
Did you hear the babies laugh? It's so cute.
So he was from The Bachelor. That means he was The Bachelor, right? Yeah.
I believe so,
Nick
yeah.
Vial. And they revealed that she was born on Friday, February 2nd, named after Natalie's great-grandmother and niece.
Thank you very much.
He said the best part of life starts now. They wrote that as a caption in the post. Then one last thing, and then we'll move on to the clips. Deadline reports that, as suspected, Ratched, the show, has been canceled at Netflix after one season, despite originally receiving a 2-season order.
So what was the series about again?
It was Nurse Ratched.
It was Nurse Ratched.
Yeah,
I
it was
thought
kind
so.
of earlier from One Flew Over the
Nurse
Cuckoo's
Ratched meets Glee.
But it's kind of sucks that they had given it a go-ahead for the second season, and now no dice. If you started watching that show, that kind of sucks for you. Sarah Paulson confirmed the news in a video shared recently. She said when Ian asked her, are we getting Ratched season 2? She replied, no.
Any chance they could integrate that character into Cobra Kai?
Maybe.
Nurse Ratched
in
joins the
Cobra
dojo?
Kai. Yeah, why not? Why not take a canceled a star from a canceled series and just port them over to one that's doing very well.
Sure.
Successful. Oh, one last entertainment report. I promised our friend Todd Glass I would mention this.
Yes.
He's got some shows coming up at Bourbon and Bank. It's at the end of the month, and it's February 21st to the 24th. He's doing 13 shows in a very intimate atmosphere.
It's the perfect way to see Todd. If you've ever entertained the notion of seeing Todd Glass, who never fails to crack me up, I can't think of a better way.
And in a smaller venue, Todd moves around the room.
He does.
He'll probably end up sitting down with you at some point if you go to the show.
He's like Mick Jagger.
He's a lot like
runs
that.
the stage.
All over the place.
And if you guys can just also remember that
my mom is still dead.
Okay.
Yeah, have some sympathy for the man.
So I wanted to mention that the tickets are on sale. Bourbon and Bank, Todd Glass, Philadelphia's own.
Yeah.
The Delaware Valley's own, Todd Glass. And that's February 21st to the 24th. All right, we can do the clips now, I think. Yeah, here we are. As Carol faces a universe teetering on the brink of chaos, the team experience their powers swapped uncontrollably, which brings them even closer as the Marvels. In this clip, Brie Larson talks about her character's growth.
Getting to be on this team cracked her open in a way that she hadn't been, and I really loved that for her. Like, I just loved her letting the shoulders drop a little bit and not need to feel like all the responsibility was on her. So I think that there's just so much more to go. I mean, she's just a great character to continue to grow with.
I want to see you naked.
The Marvels is streaming today on Disney+. Next clip. So many things happen in tonight's new episode of Abbott Elementary that they had to make it an hour long.
Wow.
Here, Chris Perfetti, who plays Jacob Hill, talks about the big return.
I'm so excited for season 3. I feel like Quinta has taken a very big swing in this first episode, and she's really kind of turning the show on its head. And I think what people are expecting is not what they're going to get, and I think it's very, very cool. And the guest stars that are coming up, let's just say you're not ready.
Yeah! Abbott Elementary, season 3, premieres tonight on ABC.
We got to get her on the show at some point.
Yeah.
Quinta Brunson.
Absolutely. All right, so we're going to take a break, but Casey handed me some stuff to give away. We have a movie screening on Monday, February 12th, 7 p.m. at the AMC Fashion District in Center City, and it is for Bob Marley, One Love.
Cool.
We'll take callers number 10 and 11 at 215-263-WMMR. Bob Marley, One Love celebrates the life and music of an icon who inspired generations through his message of love and unity. It's in theaters on February 14th. Love, February 14th. It will be Valentine's Day, and you'll be able to go. All right, we're going to take a break. Come back in just a moment. We've got a few things happening on the program. Secret text word. We'll tell you about all that when we get back, so stay with us, please.
And that's your traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
All right, thanks, Kath. About an hour or so from now, we're going to have Stephen Kramer Glickman. If you ever watched the TV show Big Time Rush on Nickelodeon.
Cool.
Cast member of that show is going to be at Helium Comedy Club, so he's going to pop in this morning. Hey, just a reminder, we have an event next week. It is less than a week away now. We're going to do Galentine's Day. I'm not going to do giveaways right at this very moment. Maybe at the end of the segment, we'll have your chance to get on board with us. But I wanted to add a little bit of information. We're going to be obviously going to Rivers Casino for this, and hosted by Jack's Bar and Grill. And we're going to have some cool prizes to give away while we are there, including concert tickets, Steven Singer Gold Roses. Rivers Casino has given us a bunch of free slot play. Actually, it says $10 free slot play for all attendees.
Whoa, that's nice.
And then we'll have some prizes for Jack's and Martirano's Prime and overnight stay as well, because they have the River Suites there.
He's supposed to be awesome.
And the activity we'll be doing is going to be all the rage because, and I'll lead into this, Taylor Swift wore a friendship bracelet charm that took the world by storm.
We have our finger on the pulse, do we not?
The AFC Championship game, and we are going to be having bracelet making with Marinella Jewelry Delco. And you can accessorize.
You don't actually have to say the Delco.
It's what it says right there. Delco! In fact, I've been told we have to play that sound effect every time
okay.
I mention them. But we're going to be making, you can go to marinellajewelryshop.com to get an idea of what we're doing. But Kathy had sent me over there, and so we thank them for being a part of this event. But Kathy had sent me this story over about the bracelet that Taylor was wearing when the Chiefs won the AFC Championship. It was made by a jeweler in Lancaster. And so their sales have gone up more than 2,000%.
Can you
it's like
effing believe
moment.
She's a small jewelry shop. Like, she just, took a chance. She somehow, how do you get it to them though? Like, she somehow got it to her.
Here's the story.
There's a connection.
Okay.
Did you see this?
No.
Okay, so it's interesting. It wasn't she just sent it blindly
Right.
and Taylor goes, "Oh, look what I got in the mail. I'll try this out." No. So the woman's name is Simone Kendall, which, by the way, she's a Wharton grad. Oh. She's the CEO. She just has 8 employees. So how this happened is, and she says, by the way, if the Chiefs hadn't have won, then that people wouldn't have seen the bracelet. It wouldn't have taken off, probably because it was when they hug on the field afterwards that there was a close-up shot of the bracelet and her wrist.
All happened.
And she said they were watching the whole game going, pull your sleeves up. We can't see the bracelet, because...
she said it was like jackets, sweaters, everything was cold. So just because she hugged him, the sleeve ran up a little bit, and it perfectly showed the bracelet.
Unfriggin' real, 2,000% increase.
So here's how this happened. Last summer, she collaborated, if you know the world of female golf, Michelle Wie. Casey, you know who Michelle Wie is.
I know who she is, yeah.
She started off as like a 14-year-old phenom in the world of golf, and she's incredible.
That's what I get to do.
There you go.
That's her.
So she collaborated with her last summer for a collection that included a diamond friendship bracelet. Wie is friends with Travis Kelce. They've played golf together before. So she had apparently facilitated this whole thing.
Wie is friends with Travis Kelce?
Yes.
And they, holy Christ.
And
look at all these dominoes that have to fall.
Exactly. So, and she was working through this bracelet thing. So she got a bracelet, Michelle Wie did, for Taylor. And the bracelet has the letters TNT, Travis and Taylor. Wow. And gave it to her. And she decided to wear it, and there you go. The rest is history.
Okay. Trevor Noah was talking about when Taylor Swift came into the Grammys and she was walking around the room. He said, the economy is improving as she's walking around the room. He goes, Lionel Richie just became Lionel Wealthy.
So this jeweler, I just love that she's this small jeweler out in Lancaster. Obviously she's a great businesswoman. She's got these connections that she's making. But the bracelet is pretty expensive. It's real diamonds, but she's made a more affordable version because people are going crazy and they all want one.
Yeah, because it's a real diamond bracelet.
Yeah.
And so they've made a more affordable one with fewer diamonds, chain links, and sterling silver instead of gold, I guess.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a connection. It wasn't this just by chance thing. This was like, okay, we're gonna give this, Michelle, can you give this to Travis and maybe she'll wear it? Right. And then it happened. So she's freaking out that it actually happened.
Can we get a poop knife to Taylor Swift?
What about Preston and Steve Boy shorts?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
But the fact that it just, slipped out of underneath the sweater or jacket she was wearing when she
last second at the most photographed point, at the money shot.
Yeah.
Well, good for her. So these bracelets are now, they were popular to begin with, but now they're super popular.
Well, everyone wants them.
Yep. Well, we're going to have our own version
of
that. Thanks to our friends at Bracelet Making with Marinella Jewelry Delco.
We don't have.
I'm wearing my friendship bracelet.
Coming back
from Vietnam. I forgot my friendship bracelet.
But
Call
remember,
me baby killer.
We've talked about the Kardashians and their mega influence that they've had, and how it is very orchestrated. That if they wear this particular thing or put this thing in a particular shot of product placement, that boom, traction immediately.
And they have gotten blowback for being so
too much of it,
outlandishly obvious about it.
Yep.
Here's a real organic moment for this woman. I'm sure a nail biter all the way, but it could not have worked out more perfectly. Think about that.
Yeah.
A 2,000% increase.
Hang on a second. Eric has an interesting question. Eric, you're on the air. Good morning, bud.
Hey, good morning. How's everybody doing?
Great, man. What's up?
Yes, Eric. Eric it is.
What's up, buddy?
Well, I'm in the jewelry business, and I was wondering if I could collab with Gary.
Oh, Gary Lauer?
Customize something really unique for him. I wonder how much my sales would go up.
All right, here's the deal. I'm going to suggest something to you. It can be keying off.
I had 3 testicles.
So you have a bracelet that has 3 testicles on it, and we can have Gary endorse it, do sort of like a sexy photo shoot.
Okay.
And
exactly.
if you'd be willing to, we can collab.
Yeah.
Listen,
Collab.
Eric, I think you make a very expensive diamond tennis bracelet. Send it here. I'll wear it until we see Gary, and then I'll give it to him.
Then when you kiss Gary and put your arms around him.
Right. We'll take a picture.
And we see that dangling ball sack charm. You know.
I had 3 testicles. Everybody's calling me right now.
Yeah, the phone will be blowing up in a second.
Totally.
You just
All right.
wait. Yeah.
Good luck, Eric. It's great to collab with you, bud.
Hey,
We'll see
Kat,
you.
why do they call it a tennis bracelet?
That's a good question.
I don't know. I always knew like the tennis bracelet was the diamonds all the way around.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what is the derivation of that? I've always referred to it as such, but I never knew. I assumed that it was something that was maybe popularized by
Chris
tennis
Evert.
players.
Oh,
there you
no
go.
way. Chris Everett?
Yeah, Evert.
I'm sorry. So the world-class professional tennis player was in the midst of a highly competitive match during which her string diamonds fell off her wrist, prompting the champion to request a pause for play so she could look for the jewels. And from then on, the name tennis bracelet was tied to Everett.
Wow, and that was only was that in 1987?
Yeah.
Like that's crazy that it's like that's not that
You would think
long
it'd be
ago.
much.
Yeah.
I thought like to Audrey Hepburn days and before that. So it was Chris Everett. Huh? How about that? I
By the
actually
way, that's,
met her years ago. It was one of the first. Yeah, one of the first. I was when you're shy with your autograph book, could you? And she could not have been nicer.
Do you think you still have an autograph book? Or do you think that's in the trash somewhere?
I think the rats ate it.
All right. So anyhow, we're gonna have the tennis bracelet making or the bracelet making at the Galentine's Day. We'll do more invites in a little while, so that'll be a nice little tchotchke to have for as a Valentine's Day gift of sorts for you.
And you had something else you wanted to raise as well.
Has to do with Valentine's Day. Casey and I and Kathy were off air talking. I want the only thing Rochelle wants for Valentine's Day are chocolate covered strawberries. And I know where to get them from, and I'm hesitant to even say it because I don't want them to sell out. Did I say
They're
it?
not going to sell out. 320 Market's going to be
320
fine.
Market ages ago. Back when we were in at Y100 in media, we would go get these things. They are the best I've ever
I
had.
think Sean Keffer, who always brings us some meltaways, was our intern. I think he worked at 320 Produce with this guy, Dave. My best friend, Jeff, worked at 320 when they first opened.
They're like they're massive.
They're like softball
and they
size.
are juicy.
Yeah.
And they are because I don't know how many times I've been into a chocolate covered strawberry and it's not quite ripe yet, or it's usually the strawberry. Chocolate is a big part of it. The strawberries got to be great. They get really good ones. So I asked Casey about getting some for Rochelle for Valentine's Day, and then Kathy said something that I hadn't really even thought about. You said,
Well, because Casey said he was to have to pick them up maybe like 2 days before.
yes, because of scheduling. We're doing the Valentine's Day party. But anyway, Casey lives closer there than I do, so he's going to get them for me. But you said, don't put them in the fridge.
I said, I think that you're not supposed to put them in the fridge. I think if you do, it sweats and then it will, the chocolate will soften.
I have seen the fact that they sweat for sure, but I never really thought about the,
How
I don't
long
mind
will the
that.
strawberry last out
if
of
not
the fridge?
refrigerated.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I need to know because I would prefer to have them in optimum shape.
Yeah, I just remember someone telling me, don't put the chocolate covered strawberries in the fridge.
Why don't you, if you could, don't put them in a refrigerator necessarily, but put them like in the garage.
In a cool place.
In a cool place.
Yeah, but not
I don't
a
mind
cold.
I don't mind the sweat part. I really don't. Because the chocolate's not melting or anything like
but
that.
it softens it. It softens the chocolate and it makes it like kind of like a little more gooey than
because
than
of the
hard
moisture.
shell.
The moisture has collected on it.
Yeah, you don't want that.
So
But
it's-
if you leave it out, yeah, it's kind of like goo, Casey. Yes. Goo. If you but if you leave it out and it's not cold enough, chocolate in and of itself at room temperature, certain kinds of chocolate will soften on their own. You know what I mean? Like a Hershey's bar won't soften if it's room temperature.
This is a thin shell.
Yeah.
Or a thinner shell.
Your brain has the shell on it.
We have a clip for everything.
We do.
I don't know if anyone can concur with that or
Let us
Is
know
a
what to
scientist,
do.
perhaps a chocolate-covered strawberry scientist, or runs an institute for chocolate-covered
Nick
strawberries?
is searching right now and has not found any information about that.
No, but I have found a new recipe that I am very much intrigued by, Preston. It's called chocolate peanut butter strawberry bark.
Hello.
And it's basically like, peppermint bark that you would get around the holidays or whatever, but this is designed for Valentine's Day, and damn, does it look delicious.
Oh, okay. So it's taken thin slices of strawberries with peanut butter on top of that and then covered in chocolate.
Yeah.
With some salt on top.
Yeah.
Yum.
I'm going to shoot.
I'm going to shoot. Strawberries, peanut butter, chocolate chips, coconut oil, and flaky sea salt. That sounds
That sounds great. Sounds
wonderful.
great. Yeah.
Okay.
Can we make that at the Galentine's?
Yeah, maybe we should.
So, Preston, real quick, what I'm finding is sort of what we all just said. So, the chocolate-covered strawberries can be left out overnight if you're going to eat them within 24 hours. Otherwise, you do want to store them in the refrigerator, but don't cover them.
Leave the refrigerator door open.
No, because that is going to cause the moisture to develop faster.
Okay.
So you still might get the sweating, but at least this one woman on YouTube says don't cover them.
Oh, well, then you got to trust her.
The woman with the track marks.
One woman on YouTube.
Casey, she looks like she knows chocolate-covered strawberries. So.
Okay.
You mean
she
she's
does?
very
She's a
large,
very big fat person? Okay.
No.
Yeah, she's the size of a wrecking ball.
All right, good to know, and we'll take that into consideration. But I'm looking forward to having this.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that
It's
for me,
gonna
Casey.
happen.
I appreciate it.
I might have to take it out for a test spin this weekend first.
I don't blame
And
you
then
at
go
all.
back.
So, with talking about Valentine's Day and all that stuff, relationships, I did see this story that is, it was a study that was done about cheating and what exactly constitutes cheating. How do you define cheating? Obviously, we know having sex with somebody else is
I'd
considered
say
cheating.
that falls in a concrete area of cheating.
But then there are other things that are not necessarily physical, like that they're wondering if you consider it cheating.
Like
according to this
emotional
study.
cheating, right?
Yeah. So is cheating spending hours on the phone with someone else? Something like that. Is cheating buying a lavish gift for someone other than your partner? New research by Sarah Salavati and Susan Boone, just published in Personal Relationships, explores how the context of these minor transgressions affect whether or not they're perceived as cheating.
Context is everything. And I think after a while, maybe when you're young and starting out in the world of romance and dating, you don't know a lot of this stuff. You accrue wisdom and you get pretty good at calling what is going to be, or at least appear to be, a red flag to somebody that you are with.
Yeah,
so you get good at it.
Well,
You
the
should
emotion-
get good at it.
We've talked about it before. The emotional part of it is, emotional cheating, I guess.
Yeah, so the researchers had they gotten participants. They had them evaluate multiple hypothetical scenarios involving a dating couple, where one member of the couple was directly messaging a third party on social media. But they had to add some other things to that to determine whether or not that would be considered innocuous or it is considered cheating. And then there were a few different contextual factors.
We were talking to Kelsey Cook yesterday about this. Remember the exchange about Instagram?
Yeah.
And she found out that her boyfriend had responded to somebody's DMs on Instagram.
So there were 24 different scenarios representing every possible combination of 3 contextual factors. And those were secrecy. Right, the partner engaged in the act tries to hide it or does not try to hide it. Frequency, the messages happen once a week, a couple times a week, once a day, or a couple times a day. Or the victim's familiarity with the potential rival. The victim knows the rival not at all, moderately, or very well. The victim being the one who's being cheated on, by the way. So overall, most participants didn't think that the messaging constituted cheating. On a 7-point scale, rating their agreement with the statement that this behavior was cheating, the average rating was around 2 out of 7. Whether or not the behavior indicated an intention to cheat, the average rating was about 2.5 out of 7. However, the ratings were highly dependent on the 3 contextual factors: secrecy, frequency, and familiarity. That's what changes it all.
They all come into play.
How often you're doing it? Are you hiding it?
Are you spanking it?
And do you know them at all?
Yeah, I think if you're hiding it, that's the best indication. If you're keeping that from your partner and you don't want them to know, that's a form of cheating. But I have a question for the room and for the listening audience. And this is a legit question, and it's, I swear to God, not about me.
Okay. good preamble to covering your ass.
I have a friend.
Yeah.
He goes to massage parlors and he pays for that. And
for a happy ending?
He sure does.
Really?
Yeah, and it's
I think it is.
Oh, I know. I mean, listen,
It's professional.
What if he just goes to the street corner and gets a handy from without the massage?
I think it is.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
yeah, but is prostution really cheating?
Your question.
Well, if you're paying for the service and it's
can't
just
right now.
sex trade,
You're saying it's like going to get your hair cut.
Yeah, kinda.
No, it's not.
Is it cheating? Are you cheating with your barber?
You're just getting an extended massage, Kathy.
I think anytime you pay someone to touch your pee-pee, I think that's cheating.
I can't believe you're even bringing this.
I think there's a gray area.
question.
What about like even just the massage part, right? Like,
Yeah, they're touching parts.
because you wouldn't ask. Kathy, hey, can you?
Ooh, I would
I'm gonna go.
never
I
touch
know,
you.
See?
but let's just say for a second, you're not disgusted by my presence. Okay.
Let's pretend.
And I lay down on a table, and you give me a massage, a hand on
Why I'm
skin
not
back
a
massage.
therapist. It's why I'm
I'll
honest.
tell you
wouldn't
this.
be able
Yeah.
to touch other people.
I would think the familiarity,
Yeah.
which is what we're talking about, would be the issue. The anonymity of someone, not saying that you're anonymous prostitute and or tug job from the business. That's
right.
cheating. But in this case, if you're just going to get a massage, and nothing illicit happens, that's fine.
Steve,
I think knowing the person, if you say, Kathy's going to give me a massage, I think that could be.
Yeah.
But not if it only. I think only if you repeatedly came back every
Right.
single day, every single week, and got a massage, and we developed some sort of emotional connection to each other.
Yeah.
Here's his contention. A is a business transaction.
Oh, man.
And B, there's a bit of don't ask, don't tell.
Is this person in general a fairly lucid, clear-thinking individual?
Oh, yeah.
Because this seems
Owns a business and everything.
This seems
No, dude.
Don't be tickling her nothing.
You're
Yeah,
paying for a prostitute, pal. Tell your friend it's prostitution.
yeah. I don't
Yeah,
think.
all right, but it's
knows
prostitution.
that.
He knows that. He knows what's going on. He knows that there's a business transaction, that he's paying for a sexual favor. Is that cheating?
Yeah, so
Yes.
on an emotional level.
Yes.
Because it's not on an
Okay.
emotional level.
It's-
Actually, you're kind of taking your emotion
That's
out
exactly right.
But Kathy sees it as an emotional
Well,
level.
no,
So
no,
that-
no. Oh,
okay.
sorry.
I don't think
Yeah.
simply being bereft of the emotional aspect doesn't make it not cheating. I mean,
Right.
going to get your rocks off with someone, that I think that's cheating. Whether
Yeah, that's I mean,
I think you can try to argue and say, well, there's no emotion involved, and we know that most women would rather not have somebody have the emotional connection, but it's still cheating if you're going to get sex from someone else.
yeah, that's full on physical
Yeah.
cheating. If there's no emotion involved, okay, fine.
To maybe break it down even further, if let's say there's no emotional connection or whatever, you don't have to worry about this person leaving you for the rub and tug person. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt that person is going elsewhere for sexual gratification.
when they should be paying you for the rub and tug.
You should be getting paid for that. I mean, you're getting in a workout, man.
I say this, Nick, and always it's the way I always apply the flip the script notion. Would he?
He wouldn't care.
He wouldn't care.
No, he would like to see her get her rocks off.
Okay.
Wow, okay, well then he's got different ideas about sex than she does. Okay,
Yeah, I mean,
and they
who's
need
he
to
liking in
talk
the Super
about
Bowl?
it.
They do talk very openly about it, and there are just times where she is just not feeling remotely sexual. For him,
Her hand hurts.
for him, there is the clear delineation between there is zero emotional attachment to this.
Can I ask, where do you go for this service?
I don't go
I'm sorry.
anywhere.
Okay, I mean your friend.
Is it local? Wait, Nick, hold on. So she knows.
It's where the old Panera used to be.
Right.
Nick, she knows
City
he's
Ave.
going?
Kathy,
no?
I think I don't know exactly.
She works there.
All right, okay.
She doesn't work there. No, let's not conflate the issues. She, I think that she knows. She just doesn't care.
Okay.
Few people are saying, Nick, can you send me the name of that rub and tug,
Yeah.
please, if you wouldn't mind? Hang on a second. I want to go to a call. I have Samantha here. Hi, Samantha. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Great. What's up, Samantha?
All right. So I want to say, it's the desire and the want, but let me go in a little bit more. So the best example I could say is, and I guess it goes along with Nick, is if you go to a strip club, obviously you're going there for a want or a desire. But if you're going home to the person that you have a relationship with, that's not cheating.
Okay, so you see the simple act of going out to, say, a strip club, and then you go home and you take what has been generated, your feelings from there, home to your significant other. That's fine, and I think everyone would agree with that. What if you stayed at the place, and if it goes a step further, obviously, and you have some sort of physical contact, you have some sort of stimulation? That's cheating, correct?
Yes,
All
yes.
right.
But it's also, too, that, and I kind of experienced this in the past, is your significant other wants to be with somebody else but is staying with you. Like they want to be with another person. They, but they don't leave you. So that's the same thing, I think, as cheating.
What if the person you are with works at the strip club? Does that?
I think his perspective is a different version of a strip club.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, my perspective.
All right.
I mean, his perspective.
Listen, whatever works. If he's happy and it's working for them, that's fine.
Cheating.
Here's a great text. Now all of Nick's friends' wives.
Yeah.
Don't.
Serious questions for their
I already got a text from one of them.
Oh boy.
Oh, that's too funny.
Just reply back. It's me. I said a friend.
Right, not a friend at all. It's
It's
Nick
just me.
McElwain.
Yeah.
Now, but going back to the texting thing, they're just using this as an example of contacting someone, either text or direct messaging or something like that. If you did see your significant other and you found out about the fact that they were hiding a constant dialogue between someone back and forth, that would be unsettling to me.
I tell you, yeah. Yes, it would be. I know how I would feel. And so you look to avoid, I always loop, not that Claire would ever ask for this, but if there's something, a communication between a mutual friend, I'll loop her into the conversation. It's just, you never want the impression of something that could hurt somebody's feelings going on. I save that for the tug joint I go to.
Nick, why did you highlight that text message? I can't read that.
Well, what does it say?
You're pretty good at reading
Paraphrase.
If having an old mafia guy
Oh my God!
dine on your girlfriend, and I'm paraphrasing, is having an old mafia guy dine on your girlfriend considered cheating? Because that happened to me.
Wow.
Okay.
Is it a mafia guy we would know?
I don't even understand. Like, did he? He was the one who chose
were
to
you?
have.
Did you precipitate that?
Yeah.
Mystery texter. Was it your idea? Because that's what it sounds like. Then you're getting into like cuckold material.
Yeah.
And
a mob cuck is a.
Why does it sound like it was his idea?
Because it says if having an old mafia guy do this to your girlfriend, it sounds like.
He's offering.
I had this dude do this to my girlfriend. You know what I mean? So he set it up. I don't know.
Bring in Luca Brasi. I have a proposition for him.
Blah, 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 blah.
Godfather, I will do this for you in front of you with your wife. And may you have a robust orgasm as you watch me pleasure your wife.
Maybe a masculine orgasm.
A masculine orgasm. We will dress Fredo as a monkey and he will dance. And I hope you have a robust, vigorous orgasm. Thank you, my dear friend.
Let me go to Michelle. Hi, Michelle. Good morning.
Hi.
Hi. You had a question.
Yes. So what if it's the other person? Like, what if is the masseuse?
Yes.
Who's giving the
tug job?
ending?
Yeah.
Is that considered cheating?
Is she cheating?
So if the massage therapist is in a relationship with someone else, are they cheating on their significant other simply because they're doing their job?
That is an interesting. Interesting dynamic. I would listen.
If she's hiding it, yes. If she's not, and her significant other knows about it.
And also, she better report it to the IRS because that's
true.
Revenue. And
That is revenue.
Wrong.
There's
Thanks, Michelle.
in the show 6 Feet Under. One of the guys' girlfriends is a massage therapist, and she is for the longest time.
Does she do the happy endings?
At one point, it's not like her MO, but at one point she was like, and she ended up going down below the belt and doing that thing. But yeah, at that point, that's cheating.
Interesting. Well, I think you'd have to be ridiculous. Anytime there's something physical going on, I think that is cheating. Also, and then and as you said, Preston, it's all about context.
Yeah.
If you are, and Nick, you pointed out, if you're keeping it a secret, if you get the feeling that maybe this might be a little awkward, then it's cheating.
Speaking of context, here's a great text message. It says, I love this show. I walk in the store, you're talking about strawberries. I come out and it's handies and prostitution. They can flip very quickly, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we enter a segment of the program which is called Am I Cheating?
Okay.
All right.
I'm cheating! We'll go to Shane. Hi, Shane. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. How you doing?
Good. What's up, bud?
All right. So years ago, and this is before we had cell phones or even pagers, a girl I was seeing went on vacation for like a week or two. And during that time, I was having doubts. And eventually, a girl in college I met, I'm like, all right, it's over. I'm going to see this girl instead.
Okay.
Now, mind you, I had no way to communicate this to her, but in my silly mind, I thought it was binding that I made that decision. But to my credit, I made the decision to break up before I dated this other girl. And then when she came back from vacation, I'm like, oh, yeah, we got to talk.
All right, so here's the deal. She was on vacation. You made a decision that you wanted to break up with her when she got back because you couldn't reach her. So you went ahead and messed around with this other girl before you officially broke it off. Is he cheating?
I think yes. I think yes, because you would owe her the service of letting her know that you had broken it off. Now, I would understand if the telegraph wires were down or the Pony Express rider was dead.
But it doesn't matter. You did, but it doesn't matter because the relationship was ending.
It was ending anyway. However, just out of respect, and I would say this for any future occurrence where this might be the case, let the person know before you make that, you call an audible on that. Right. That's my take.
All right, sorry to give you the bad news.
Yeah, man, you shameful person.
Yeah. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
I like this. Am I cheating?
Am I cheating?
We now talk to Lou, who was dating when the Pony Express was the only way to communicate.
Here's a text, and we do have to take a break. It says, are actors cheating if they enjoy kissing? If they enjoy it, not that they're doing it, if they enjoy it.
So I think in this case, it's if your job is requiring you to do that, and it is a natural thing where you're enjoying it, or you like the old adage used to be, I forget who the actor was who said it. I apologize if I get aroused, and I apologize if I don't get aroused during a sex scene.
Never acting and never having done that, I couldn't say definitively, but kissing's fun.
Yeah, I mean, you and I kissed last week. Remember that? We kissed each other's foreheads.
Yeah, that's right.
Were we cheating?
That was performative.
Yeah.
That was performative.
Yeah.
But, but the question is if they're enjoying it is the question.
And you guys kind of enjoyed it.
But,
well,
yeah, I didn't enjoy it.
I don't think...
His forehead was a little sore.
I tell you what, kiss Kathy.
Oh, God, no.
There's your answer.
There you go.
What makes you feel like more of a man than to hear an immediate, oh, God, no.
Oh, God. It's a step up from ooh, which is normally the first thing out of her mouth.
I wanted to respect you.
Yeah, thank you.
God, no.
Hi, Kathy. Oh, God, picked up on it. All right, thank you for your calls. We appreciate it, but ponder. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back in a moment. Let's give away Valentine's Day passes because I was just talking about that. We'll take one caller, number 15 at 215-263-WMMR. A week from yesterday. So next Tuesday, we're headed to Rivers Casino in Philadelphia at Jack's Bar and Grill. And if you're at least 21 years of age and one of the ladies, call right now. We'll put you on the list, 215-263-WMMR. We'll be back with the Bizarre File.
Preston and Steve.
Traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
Thank you, Kathy. We'll hear some music in just a moment. As soon as that fades up, there it is. We'll be on Fox Good Day. Here we go.
It all goes by real quick. You can't buy happiness.
Hey, Preston and Steve, if you guys are going to watch the game, first of all, answer that question. The Super Bowl is what I'm talking about. And if you go to a Super Bowl party, is there a certain food you will be disappointed if they don't have it out on the table?
If they
Preston?
don't, if I'm disappointed, I'm when I go to the games like that, like I'm a dip guy, so I really look forward to something like a Mexican dip or something along those lines, a queso.
Yes.
I'm with you, and that's on the list. So they're saying that you shouldn't have queso dip.
What?
That it brings bad energy.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, you can't not have queso dip.
Energy?
It's a nonsense.
Cheese makes the world go round.
Yeah. I'm totally down. For me, buffalo chicken dip.
A dip as well.
That has become a must-have. And even so, I don't do the party thing. I'll watch at home. We kind of have to, as you guys do, though we could care less about this one. But buffalo chicken has now worked its way, whether it be buffalo chicken top pizza, but I do really love the buffalo chicken dip. Case, you agree as well, right?
Oh, yeah. Buff chick dip?
Yeah, buff chick dip. Yeah. That's how the experts refer.
Yeah.
Buff chick dip.
Yeah.
Now, will you even go to a Super Bowl watch party?
No. Absolutely not.
Not this year.
What?
No.
I watched the Super Bowl on my phone in the closet. Yeah. No.
Oh gosh. But this is the time where I'm here for the commercials, for the halftime show, and to eat and talk. Because if the Eagles are in it, I'm don't talk. I need to focus,
right.
and I don't want to mess this up. But now I'm here for fun.
That's a good point, though. You can so socially though. It's a school night. We've always talked about that. You guys know. The next day you got to be on the air, and so it kind of makes it difficult. So I just stay at home and watch it. And then we were talking earlier about how all the commercials are already available to be seen prior to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So
things have changed in that regard.
Yeah, it's really all about the dip.
Yeah.
It's about the dip.
The queso dip.
It's interesting, too, that a brioche bread-making company did the survey.
I don't know brioche, unless it's in the artichoke dip. I guess the bowl, bread bowl.
I'm tired of being at sports stadiums and being shouldered by guys with brioche bread.
Caviar.
Did we also mention wings? You gotta have wings.
Yeah, you need wings. Yes.
Wings are good. It's you get the fingers and all. There's a lot of work to them and all that stuff. You know what? I know this is probably looked at as a stereotypical Super Bowl football thing, but I like a good tomato pie to be there when I show up. That's what I want to dive into. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think we've agreed that dip is the way to go. It's and tasty.
And if you're feeling fancy, a 7-layer dip. Ooh.
Hey, have you seen
so fancy
the nachos in a can? The Guy Fieri.
No.
The company Goldbelly. That they. So this apparently they're selling like crazy. Where it literally comes like in a can. You take it out and it's ready to go. It's all the rage.
It's not soggy or anything.
No, I haven't had it. Buy me one, I'll have one.
Else to see that.
Yeah. But it's all the rage.
About anything in a can now. Kids, we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye, guys.
It's Wednesday,
we'll see you later.
7th. Yeah.
All right, so Guys Barbecue Trash Can Nachos is what it's called.
That's it,
Okay,
yes.
So Nick,
selling like crazy.
Nick pulled this up, and it looks almost like, I don't know what that looks like. It looks like you assemble it, Steve.
Yeah, and dude, look at the price tag.
Yeah, so here's what it is. The actual the can is essentially like a mold. Okay, so you put it in place, and then you put all the ingredients in there. It holds it in place, and then you lift the can up.
Don't want it,
and everything's in one in a nice, beautiful, stackable presentation.
Now I want it to come completely ready to eat.
Nope.
And I know there's preparation involved. I hate it.
Wow. Okay.
It's completely flipped.
Wait, did I hear he's going to be in town, Guy Fieri?
When?
I think tomorrow, maybe. There's he's going to be in KOP. He's got a chicken franchise that's opening up at the King of Prussia Mall, and I think he's going to be in town for
what
it.
What in the hell?
I thought we were trying to reach out to him. I said something about that recently.
You did.
Reaching out to Mark Summers and seeing if he can.
And we had a great.
He loves us.
He loves us.
We do.
Otis, he loves us.
I'm a little hurt. I'm scared.
What's it called?
I don't know.
I'll find it.
What are you talking about?
The restaurant that I'm talking about. The reason why Guy Fieri
that he's opening up.
Yeah, and he's in town at King of Prussia Mall. It's a Chicken Guy franchise.
He could bring us
some soup,
and he could bring us some of these trash can nachos.
Yeah.
There's a guy named Kevin Cooper. He won Guy Fieri's Chance of a Lifetime that contest that he did a few years ago, and so now this guy Kevin Cooper is opening up Chicken Guy franchise, and it's at the King of Prussia Mall, and Guy's coming into town for it.
Well, we need to reach out.
Yeah,
and touch someone.
All right,
see if we can get that.
Jotting down a note.
Okay.
All right, let's do the Bizarre File. Here we go.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Brought to you by Special Olympics Pennsylvania, inviting you to join Nick McElwain and Team MMR at the Philadelphia Polar Plunge, February 10th at Citizens Bank Park. Info at phillyplunge.org. A woman stole a memory card from her date, a man in Anchorage, Alaska. The whimsical theft, however, led to Brian Stephen Smith being charged with murder.
Wow.
On the card were gruesome images and videos of him killing other women. And she turned him in after what must have been a terrifying week of thinking about it.
So how does it happen that she's stealing a memory card from him?
I don't know. She said according to The Voice, on one of the videos, it says, "In my movies, everybody always dies. What are my followers going to think of me? People need to know when they're being serial killed." It was about a week after she took the SD card. The woman turned it over to police, who said that they recognized the voice as that of Brian Stephen Smith, now 52 years old, the South African native that they knew from a prior investigation. Smith has pleaded not guilty to 14 charges, including first and second degree murder, sexual assault, tampering with evidence, and the deaths of Kathleen Henry and Veronica Abachuk, who was 52 when her family reported her missing in February 2019, 7 months after they last saw her. His lawyers wanted to have the card and its evidence excluded on the basis that the woman who stole it might have tampered with it. It's not exactly clear what the court thought of this, but fabricating videos of missing, murdered women being killed seem to obviously beyond the capabilities of a average petty thief. And Smith admitted killing the women to officers. So that is, and Steve, I don't know why she decided to take it. I have no idea.
But why?
Yeah.
I mean, wild.
All right, how about this? This is fun. A Costco shopper tested the limits of the retail club's return policy by bringing back a 3.5-year-old sofa simply because she stopped liking it.
Oh my gosh.
What did it do to her?
They took it back.
They took it back?
She said, I just didn't like it anymore. We just don't like the color anymore. Jackie Wynn said in a TikTok video. She explained that she didn't have the original receipt, but recalled the date on which she had originally purchased the couch, and that allowed Costco retail clerks to process the transaction and issue a full refund.
Do they advertise this liberal return policy?
Apparently, Costco has a very generous return policy.
That defies logic, though.
She
What
said,
was the one? Remember, was it LL Bean?
but they had to modify that.
They did. In fact, this story mentions that. So she said, I told her the date I bought it. She looked it up on the computer, told me exactly which one it was. That was it. She asked me if there was anything wrong with it. I said I just didn't like it anymore, and they gave us a full refund on the card, so it worked.
It requires some balls.
I would be embarrassed to do that for sure.
Other retailers with
got your ass juice on it.
Formerly generous return policies have revised them and to prevent customers from taking advantage and returning worn-out goods just because they could. And LL Bean, for example, once had allowed his customers to return destroyed goods years after they had first purchased them, but now they impose a 1-year limit on most returns to combat abuse and fraud.
Yeah, I think at a certain point, you've owned it, you've used it. I think it's understood that you should not return it. But the couch, man, it's wild. They took it.
She just did it to try it.
Yeah,
and they took her up on it. So if that's their policy, then dude,
we'll watch the floodgates.
I know. Then it'll stop.
Then they'll
after
stop
that.
it. Yeah.
All right, this is a diametrically opposed story. A man beat his elderly roommate to death after arguing over Taco Bell, according to witnesses and a prosecutor. Mark Joseph Newsom is charged with second-degree murder.
What specifically on the item are we talking about?
For killing Dale Mitchell, who was 72. Fellow roommates Bob McQuaid and Larry Melton said that they were each trying to sleep when the violence started. The fatal dispute was over Newsom claiming Mitchell stole his Taco Bell.
Oh, yeah.
Melton told the outlet he overheard, "Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Please leave me alone. Quit. Please quit."
Wow.
And the prosecutor said Newsom had punched Mitchell in the head several times. Mitchell died of his injury.
Do you notice it goes to the primal nature of finding food, having your food, territorial instincts.
Yeah.
And as bizarre as it sounds, you have so many stories about people murdering other people over food.
Yep. Melton said that there was blood all over upstairs. McQuaid, who said he trusted Newsom as a friend, called the incident senseless. So that's horrible. How about this? Some conservatives in Spain claim that artist Celestiano Garcia Cruz's painting of Jesus is too sexualized. The image has also been called offensive and evil. The painting shows a clean, unmarked Jesus topless and wearing a loincloth. He is not wounded or bleeding, which may be the source of some of the controversy, which I didn't know that. Barcelona. Gallerist Arthur Ramon notes that in the Southern Spanish tradition, Jesus is typically depicted as suffering and bleeding.
So now he's just coming from the gym?
Yeah, so he's feeling good.
Great workout.
So that's considered offensive and evil in some parts of Spain, I guess.
It's interesting, though, that I now that you mention it, I've never seen a depiction of him that way without his crucifixion injuries. right?
What,
right?
with the shirt off?
Well, yes, like that, the way you described him.
Right.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
So all the ways he's been rendered.
At some point, I'm sure he walked around without a shirt on while
Of
he
course.
didn't have holes in him.
Do you think Jesus Porky pigged it now and then?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You kidding me? Yeah. So anyhow, they found it offensive.
Did they have underpants back then?
They were made of rock.
Oh, okay.
All right, and then we'll do one more story and we'll wrap it up. A woman accused of stealing an Amish family's horse and buggy from outside of Walmart was found hiding in a motel shower under a pile of clothes.
She steals the horse and buggy and hides under clothes.
Police, and there's Walmart thrown in there too. So police responded to Walmart and investigated a stolen Amish buggy and horse. The owners, an Amish couple from Indiana, were shopping at Walmart. Came out to find the horse and buggy missing. Police allege
the theft of my horse and buggy.
They allege Lona Latosky, who had been seen at Walmart by an officer earlier that day, rode off into the sunset, leaving the animal's spot in the Walmart parking lot empty. The witness saw someone getting in a carriage and found it strange to see a non-Amish person get in, though he did not think to report it at first. Horse and buggy was left at an Admiral gas station. Why would you take a horse and buggy to a gas station?
Because you're running low on gas.
Next to the motel.
Where are you thinking of putting that nozzle?
The buggy didn't appear to be damaged and the horse was unharmed. An officer determined that she was likely in a motel room and entered with permission from a man at the door. The officer wrote, I then checked the bathroom and the motel room and I noticed that there was a large pile of clothes in the shower. Through previous experience, I've seen people hide under piles of clothes. And at that time, I picked up the pile of clothes and found Lana Latosky underneath.
All right, this is going to be a stupid question probably, but in areas like out in Lancaster where there are a higher Amish population, are there spaces that will accommodate a horse and buggy at local businesses?
But also, I was wondering, doesn't the horse knows that this isn't their buggy? You know what I mean?
Do they?
You figure you would train a horse good enough to go, oh, I'm not leaving anywhere.
Excuse me, this is not my buggy.
Wait, they were attached to the buggy.
I know. But that's
Isn't
what I'm
there
saying.
driver, you mean?
No, like the horse. Doesn't the horse know who owns the buggy?
Like they wait.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, the driver.
yeah.
So she said that she knocked on the side of the buggy and got no answer, and went to the other side of the buggy and knocked, and she stated that then she got into the buggy and took it home.
You can just see it. You don't have to walk around a buggy. It's not like it's a limo.
The officer
In case, no, horses are just trained. If you know how to ride a horse, you can get on it and make it go.
That's true. She said, she told me that the officer said, she told me she had instant regret about taking the buggy, but that she was cold and needed to go home.
And so a buggy? You're going to... Oh, come on. This is full of holes in this story.
There you go. That's what I have in
the heating is good in a buggy.
The bizarre file for you this morning. Okay, we doing this?
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know. It's just put in front of me.
All right. We have the Soup Bowl coming up on Friday. Would you guys like to hear who the soups are going to be? Who's bringing the soups?
I'm thinking I would.
All right. So we are going to have 8 competitors in our studio on Friday morning. We are also going to have some people to be judges that we have brought in. Marissa, what is the correct... Marissa's not there. What is the correct term for... It's not food influencers.
Yeah, they're influencers.
No, there's another name that
term.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's another term that Marissa told me, and I don't
Massage
know what it is.
therapist.
Massage therapist.
Yes.
That will be... Marissa, what was the way you phrased that particular...
I wrote it really well this morning, and I want to see how I wrote it.
Okay.
5 food-focused digital creators.
Food-focused digital creators.
I like
that. Yes.
That will be here. All right, so the competitors for the Soup Bowl will be Gitanos in Mount Laurel, bringing their Alaskan snow crab bisque.
Ooh.
Westmont Diner in Westmont, New Jersey, bringing their chicken genicetti soup, Kathy.
Wow. What?
That's chicken gnocchi. The Kibitz Room in Cherry Hill, New Jersey is bringing their matzo ball soup.
Like me a good matzo ball soup.
The Piston Diner in Westville, New Jersey. We got a lot of Jersey represented here.
Yeah.
Bringing their cream of potato leek soup.
And you know what the Piston Diner does? They have flights of soup.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
Then Los Sarapes in Ambler and Chalfont is bringing their crema poblano soup.
Olay.
Yummy. Then Gas and Main in Haddonfield, New Jersey. Straight up tomato soup, mother effer.
There you go.
Yep. I think they're up for a James Beard Award.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we're not messing around here. No. Then you have the Metropolitan Diner and Bar in North Wales bringing their truffled 5-onion soup. Wow. Yeah.
Well, so is that like a French onion, or
it is? It said, "Don't call it French onion soup."
All right.
Bitch, slap your ass,
bitch. And then,
all right, a little harsh, but
and then you have
man dies in onion soup melee.
Catherine's restaurant in Kennett Square with their wild mushroom lump crab soup. They're in Kennett Square. It's got mushrooms in it, of course.
It'd be ridiculous to not have mushrooms from Kennett Square.
So we're excited that those are our finest. We tried to go with a variety of soups of vegetable based or seafood or Mexican, Italian, and Jewish, and we try to add a little bit of a variety in here.
And these are the soups that these establishments are known for, that people come in and ask for. We are very thrilled.
Bragged wholeheartedly in their entries about how great their soups are, so they believe it. And so our food content creators who will be helping us judge will be Dave Wez of Feeding Time, Josh East Philly, Chase Yu, Chase Matthews from Cass and the City, and Hector Nunez from Wooder Ice.
So,
love it.
The end result is we will be naming a Soup Bowl champion, correct?
And we will be judging as well, and hopefully our buddy Adam Ferrara, who's going to be at Helium Comedy Club, will be helping to judge too, because he's going to be stopping by.
He's no stranger to soup.
Yeah.
So he's heard of it, at least.
So we've got Alaskan snow crab bisque, chicken gnocchi soup, matzo ball soup, cream and potato leek soup, crema poblano soup, tomato soup, truffled 5 onion soup, and wild mushroom lump crab soup.
I have a question. How are you guys going to approach the eating of each soup? Are you going to like a little sip here and there? Because
I'm going with small. So I'm going, as I said earlier, Nick, I'm going to go with smaller cups.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do, to be fair, because and then after I've selected my winner, I will go back and I will bury my head in the pot.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because they all
I want
sound
to be fair.
Well, they sound delicious, and I don't want to get full eating one that I really like.
And that will happen because you know how especially some of these are thicker soups.
You've learned from the Burger Bowl.
I've learned from the Burger Bowl.
Right.
Yeah, I think Nick, more so, I'm concerned with which soup am I going to go with first.
All right.
You know.
Well, we are. I assume we're going to proceed with them being administered to all of us sequentially, correct?
I think so. And then you can go back and try a little bit more of one if you want to double check. I think we're okay. I think it's not just a one and done thing.
So we're going to be fed in order, the exact same order.
Throughout the morning.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But we're working on it. We're working on it. So we'll have it together. We'll have the format all together by tomorrow, and then we'll conduct the whole thing and execute it on Friday.
And it will be simulcast in Spanish.
Yes, it will.
In Spanish.
It's the Soup Bowl.
Yes.
Soup Bowl. Soup Bowl.
From Preston and Steve.
Soup Bowl. Soup Bowl.
And WMMR 93.3. Everything that slaps. Tomato and split pea. Potato, broccoli, French onion and gumbo. Wonton and gazpacho.
And there it is. We'll be sampling all varieties of soups on Friday, and then we'll name a champion, of course. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back in a second. When we return, we will have Stephen Kramer Glickman, who's going to be at Helium Comedy Club tonight. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Metro traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
Thank you very much, Kath. Our next guest is going to be appearing tonight at Helium Comedy Club. The show is at 8 p.m. You can get tickets at heliumcomedy.com. And if you remember the show Big Time Rush on Nickelodeon, you remember Gustavo. This is Stephen Kramer Glickman.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Nice to see you, sir. Thanks for being here this morning.
Oh, thanks for having me. This is very exciting.
We were commenting off air about your outfit this morning, and it's a jumpsuit with mushrooms all over it.
Yeah, I look like one of Kanye West's children. It's really, I don't know how to dress myself.
But you're a flashy dresser, man.
I'm a flashy dresser.
You make bold statements, old-fashioned statements. Have you always been that way?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And yes.
All right. You're a theater guy. You're a singer. You're a larger than life character.
I've always been a bit over the top. I wore a top hat for most of the I think most of the 6th grade when I was growing up. I thought that was a cool look. I don't know what the hell's the matter with me.
When I was in 6th grade,
I have emotional problems.
I've never told you guys this. When I was in 6th grade, I used to wear suspenders all the time.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
Because I thought I was making some kind of it made me stand out.
It's a look.
Yeah.
It's a look. When I went to the 7th grade, I walked in, no joke. This was my outfit. First day of the 7th grade. I walked in with green corduroy pants, cowboy boots.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I got this swirly Parker Lewis Can't Lose shirt on. Remember that?
Yeah. The Ferris Bueller ripoff. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was wearing that. And then I had a flat top with lightning bolts shaved in the side of my head.
Yeah.
And big old Elton John glasses. I wore that first day of 7th grade.
Wow.
I got the living crap kicked out of me by the end of the first day. I had made some enemies, but I'd also made some friends.
Yeah, well, you make the kind of friends that'll stick with someone who have the balls to hang out with someone dressed like that.
Absolutely.
Those are friends for life.
One of the guys I met on the first day of school, I'm still friends with to this day.
You know, it's funny because people obviously know you from Big Time Rush, but I'd seen a couple of videos. I was doing kind of research on you. You're like our kind of people. You're connected to the con. You know, you're into the geeky stuff.
Okay.
You're into all Star Wars and sci-fi and collectibles, and you. We actually have a problem. We have a common connection. We are huge friends with Kate Flannery, who's a friend of the show.
Oh yeah,
and you have become friends with her as well. You did a panel at a Comic-Con. Was it LA Comic-Con?
Yes, sir.
It was a reunion. Explain what happened with that, because Kate kind of weaves her way in and out of people's lives.
I love Kate Flannery more than humanly possible. She is an amazing, amazing woman. So here's the story. Is years ago, previous to this con, Kate Flannery. It was Kate Flannery and Paul, the guy who played Toby,
right,
and Stanley, Leslie,
right.
David Baker, and Meredith, and a couple other cast members. Brian Baumgartner, I believe.
Yes,
as well.
yeah.
All of them were cast in a industrial commercial, which means it's a commercial that only plays for a business within the business. So a big, I think it was Linksys or something like this, some like modem company or something, right?
And they'll drop a bundle on these things.
Oh, each of them were getting paid about $100,000 a piece to be there for one day.
Yeah.
And I was getting paid like $10,000. And I was like, this is the greatest day of my life.
Right.
All right. I don't know why they cast me. I'm the only person that was in the cast that was not on The Office.
Right.
But I played the cameraman. I had like one line.
Okay.
You know, it was very easy day. But we get out there to the set and we all kind of realized pretty quickly, like, this ain't legit. Like something, like they're gonna pay us, but this ain't good. Like we get out there, it's 114 degrees. We all have trailers, but the AC has blown out on the trailers. So you have like Leslie David Baker, like Stanley, just sweating through his clothes, right? Yeah. It's all kinds of bad news. And then they just keep saying stuff to us like, now you ain't gonna want to put nothing on the ground because a rattlesnake gonna get under there. All right, so don't put your backpack or your hat or nothing because there's gonna be some scorpions that are gonna come up. You might hit a scorpion in your trailer, so watch out now. And they like did not have water for all of us. Like it was the worst set ever.
So they're dropping all that loot, but they're not catering the shoot.
Oh no. It was like all the money went to that, and then like no one else. Right. It was the worst set. But we bonded in this horrible moment.
Okay.
All
Out of
us.
your mutual misery.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then from there, it just kind of became like a thing where like we had Meredith and Oscar on my podcast, The Nighttime Show.
Right.
And we did that at the Improv one night. And then it came time to do the Office cast reunion at LA Comic-Con. And they asked Kate Flannery, because she was she was killing it. She was on Dancing with the Stars. And they were like, who do you think we should have host this? And she was like, Glickman. And I was like, it was the greatest moment. And I got to like spend an entire day with the whole cast and do that. And
By the way,
awesome.
our dump button for cursing here is, what is it, Preston? It is
the Flannery switch.
God,
It's actually got a label on it.
Man, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That really, if anything makes sense, it's that.
Yep. She's cursed more times than any guest ever on this show.
Wow.
Ever. Yeah.
You have so
Let's
many.
beat it. I'm just kidding.
You have so many things that you're involved with, and so many cool things that were just. You're, and I was familiar with your podcast because, again, I think Kevin Smith had mentioned. You had Kevin Smith on the show.
Yeah, we had Kevin. It was our 200th episode.
He's a friend of the show here as well. And you get all you have to do is ask one question, and then you can leave the room.
Yeah, and
come back an hour later, and you're good to go.
My favorite thing about Kevin Smith, if I can just say this,
please,
real quick,
yeah,
is we started doing the episode with him, and he goes, I'm gonna tell you guys something. I bet throughout your lives, someone has said to you that you don't stick with things, that you just, you're creative guys, you work on something and then you don't fulfill it, right? Like you don't finish it because you start, but you don't finish. He goes, look at this. You've done 200 episodes of this show. All you needed was something sticky enough to hold on to. That's all it is. He's like, if you find something that you love enough and it holds your interest and you hold its interest, like it's gonna work. True. But like so often as like a creative person, like I work on a project, but maybe it doesn't get to go the full way. It doesn't make it to the theater, or it doesn't make it on TV or whatever, and it's like you feel bad about it. But he really kind of like leaned into us a little bit and was like, no. It's just because it hasn't been,
It's cool, yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. It was really he's a really sweet guy.
He's got great advice.
Good guy.
Speaking of things that are sticky, you have a dog named Jelly Donut.
Oh God.
Okay.
The stickiest.
So
she's ridiculous.
I love that.
She's barely a dog. I mean, if we're being honest, she's more like a pillow with eyeballs. She's just the fattest. She's the fattest thing you've ever seen. She's like a Ziploc bag full of Jello. She really is like barely a dog.
So why Jelly Donut? Where'd you get that name? You just wanted to, or?
You know what? I got her on. Well, she's gelatinous.
Okay,
first of
there you
all.
go, jelly.
She really has like a gelatinous center. Like there's like that dog where they're like bones, no bones.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this dog's no bones.
She's a pug, by the way, right?
She's a pug. Yeah.
I could see that.
Do you take her with you?
I don't take her on the road. She hates everything that isn't in the house.
Okay,
so
I got it.
She doesn't like other dogs. She doesn't like other people. She has a dog sitter, but aside from that, I mean, also like she makes insane noises. Like she's not like she doesn't like bark,
snorts.
Yeah, like not even that. Like I've had like girls over and they're like they're like, oh my God, you're like cute dog. It's
a good move.
Oh my God, Jelly Donut, it's so cute. And then when they go to meet her, she'll make this sound. She'll go. And they're just like, what? Yeah. What is that? What is that noise?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's her. That's like her normal sound.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Wait, so
is
does
she
it work
okay? I'm like, no.
eventually?
I mean,
once they get past that,
yeah. Then they're like, all right, we'll just leave her in the living room. Go to the bedroom where the monster doesn't exist.
They sound like they're dying. When they're
Yeah,
trying to
she
breathe.
always sounds insane. Like
And they
she
have
just.
the look on the face is always like they've just witnessed a murder.
Yeah.
It's always.
She looks depressed always.
Yeah.
And then every once in a while we'll get a smile from her, and it's like, oh God, what is this? What did she do?
So is that? So does that work in your favor when you have a woman over, or is that a mountain you have to climb before you close the deal?
You know what? My entire home is a mountain. Like I start with flags, with red flags. Okay. I let them see all the, like I've got a baby Yoda when you walk in the front door.
Dude,
So
you're like me, collectors.
Yeah.
You have stuff all over the house.
Yeah, they come in, they see all the nerdy stuff, and then like it's like they have to make it through. Like I have my guest bathroom is painted bright red, and it's all McDonald's themed. I have a giant M on the wall, like a giant like from an actual McDonald's.
Right.
I have a Ronald McDonald helium head, one of those giant heads they used to have.
Yeah.
Remember? I have one of those on the counter. And
Wait a minute, you would blow helium balloons out of. Oh my God.
So when a woman comes over and she walks in and sees the McDonald's bathroom, the first response is like, "Is this where I die?" Like it's terrifying.
I can tell you this: my wife, who I've been married to now for 25, 26 years. We're coming on our anniversary. She came to my apartment. I had all massive horror sci-fi stuff. I literally had a half torso with a leather mask face on it sitting on a table. And she thought that what you just said, here's where I'm going to die. Wow. Who knows I'm here. Right. And now we're married and happy. So
sometimes it works out.
It can work out.
I had a girl walk in. I have like a home office.
Yeah.
And half of the home office, one side of it is all toys. And it's like 400 action figures. It's just like tons of toys. And this girl walked in, looked at it, and just went, "No," and then just turned around and walked out.
How did she say it?
No.
It's definitive.
No, I'm not gonna do this.
That was actually me, by the way.
Totally. So Big Time Rush.
Yeah.
Big step in your life. But you were explain how you got to that show, because you have a successful music aspect to your career, theater, all that stuff. How does Big Time Rush end up on your chronology?
Well, I came up, okay.
Yeah.
I was on I got cast to play Shrek in Shrek the Musical on Broadway.
Right.
For the original Broadway workshops and readings of Shrek the Musical. So I worked in New York under Jeffrey Katzenberg and David Geffen and all those guys with Sutton Foster and all these amazing people. And I spent like 2 years working on that show.
So when you're at that point, when you talk about workshopping it, you're preparing it so that they can create the production, but it doesn't necessarily guarantee you'll have the role.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. You do the part, like basically you go every single day to rehearsal,
right.
And it's like 5 days a week of rehearsing from 7 o'clock in the morning till about 7 o'clock at night. And they're doing makeup tests on you. They're doing, all costume tests, trying all the songs out, the whole bit.
Are you potentially in the running does that happen?
Yeah. They you do it in the hope that they're going to take you straight to Broadway.
Right.
It's the same kind of thing with animated movies. For animated movies, all the biggest animated movies, they have someone who's like a rough draft voice that they animate to.
Right.
And then at the last minute, literally right before the movie comes out, they fire everybody and replace them with like giant famous people.
It's a cruel business.
It is, but it's part of the thing where they just go, that's just how it works.
Yeah.
You can't pay John Krasinski to be the voice of a character or Billy Crystal. You couldn't pay him to be in Monsters, Inc. for 3-4 years.
For months and months and months of just working on it.
Well, I mean, every animated movie takes at minimum 4 years to make.
Right.
So that's like Pixar, Disney, all DreamWorks, 4 years is like minimum, right? So it's the same kind of thing with Broadway. It's like 2 years, maybe more, of workshopping a show and doing readings and testing it out. And you do that right up until, it's time. And then usually they'll fire everybody that's like the stars and replace them with big people. Or sometimes you get to go all the way through. And I didn't really know that. So I thought I was the guy for everything.
Yeah.
And I worked on Shrek for like 2.5 years. And then right before it opened, they replaced me with this guy, Brian Darcy James. And I was like, I was crushed.
Yeah.
And I was like, what happens to my life now? Like, and then I was so worried about coming back to Los Angeles and like everyone knowing that I had gotten fired. I just felt like this is so embarrassing. What are you going to do? I get back to LA. It turns out no one cares. Everyone's like, hey, great job on Broadway. Like no one knew what was happening. And I got back to LA. I was back in LA for 2 weeks. And 2 weeks into being back, I had an audition at Nickelodeon on a Friday. My callback was the same day on Friday.
Wow.
Saturday, they called me and cast me as Gustavo.
The complete opposite. Complete opposite.
And then Sunday was my costume fitting, and Monday was my first day at work. And then it was five years of being on Big Time Rush, and my whole life changed. Every aspect of my life changed after that.
At what point did they fire the person that thought they had the job before you?
Thursday. Murray from Stranger Things.
What?
Really? Brett Gelman.
I love him.
Was playing
You're a better
Gustavo.
Gustavo.
No kidding.
In the table read.
He's great.
He's an amazing actor.
he's
Yeah.
phenomenal.
How many episodes in a season? Because it was, I think, like 4 seasons or something like that.
Oh my God. I think our first season was 20. I think our second season was 30 episodes.
That used to be the way. Now you get 8, 10.
Well, no, not for these shows.
I know.
For the Nickelodeon shows, that's the ones where they fire out.
Oh man. Well, they would book. They would say, "Okay, we're going to do 15," and then they'd go, "We got a back 9." And you're like, "A back 9? What does that mean?" You're like, "You get 9 more episodes to shoot this season." So, yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. It was amazing.
Did you run across our Mark Summers? I assume you had.
Oh, I know Mark a little bit. Yeah,
so
he's
Mark
super
is a
cool.
good friend of the show.
Wow.
Yeah, and he
Double Dare.
Double Dare.
I mean, come on.
He explained the mechanism. Yeah.
That was the dream as a kid to be on Double Dare.
Totally.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh man.
So working on
Weird dreams when we were a kid.
working on a show that is focused on entertaining kids as a full-grown adults and all that. Did that was it weird to you at all?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm an actor and I should,
I just got turned down for Shrek.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. The thing is that like I'm a pretty big goofball. So like I think someone on the show mentioned, like some producer on the show was like, "You're what kids would imagine is a bad guy." Like if they were imagining like what a bad guy is in a movie, you would be the bad guy. And I was like, well, what does that mean? They're like, well, imagine Home Alone. Okay, so those bad guys, Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern in that movie. That's the level of bad guy that you play where everyone just buys it. It's great. It's like funny, slapsticky, bad guy character. Like you just fit into that. And like over the past, over like the years, that's the thing. Like it keeps coming back. Yeah. And it does, like I'm working on a Disney show right now, and it's like I'm perfectly fine with that. Like it's really fun. I have gone outside the stuff. I did a TV show called Workaholics.
Yes.
Where I played Adam's boyfriend on in the friendship anniversary episode.
That's great.
It was super fun. I had a great time. I'm friends with Adam, and I love all those guys are great. But like, it didn't really. It wasn't. It was fun, but doing this kind of stuff is great.
Well, another person we're friends with is Hal Sparks, and he used to be on the show Ant Farm. You remember? And I remember he was very proud of that work that he did on that show.
Yeah. Well, because you get to be part of people's childhood.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then that puts a responsibility on you in your life to keep trying to make good choices and not get DUIs. Yeah.
Not get DUIs.
Yeah.
Exactly. A lot of people
like
don't have that.
Yeah. So I have like this tiny little extra thing in my career that's like I have a sense of responsibility to the people that grew up watching me. So I try to make good stuff for them, and then they support me, which is awesome.
How did Nickelodeon react? I think you were executive producer. As you were on Big Time Rush, you were executive producer on a short film called Boner Police or something like that?
Okay. All right. right, listen here. All right, I've made some choices.
We've all made choices.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, boner police.
We all have our boner police.
Let's talk about boner police.
James Lipton.
It was like It was like a short film about a world where it's against the law to get a boner, and I just thought it was the funniest thing. I dropped some money into it because my friends were making it. You know,
It's funny.
You do stuff like that.
What choices led you to smoke weed with Snoop Dogg?
Oh wow! Really going for it, Nick.
I mean, we're going for kids shows to.
That was on the show. That was on Big Time Rush.
Yeah.
Snoop is a friggin' kid's star. He is transcended all levels. You know, forget the early days. He's hanging out with Martha Stewart and doing kid shows.
Well, you know, before he was on Big Time Rush, he really hadn't done any kid type stuff though. Not really. Like he was still like, you know, he was Snoop, but he was doing stuff, but you weren't seeing him on children's television.
No.
You know?
No.
And basically what happened is Big Keys, who's his bodyguard, I have been friends with Big Keys for years, and he's like 7 feet tall, 500 pounds. Like he's just this monster dude. And I brought him onto the set the first day of shooting, and I was like, you gotta have this guy play the bodyguard. He should play Freight Train, the bodyguard on the show. And so they cast him on the show. And then Snoop's kids watched their bodyguard, you know, that protects them all the time on TV. And then they were like, Dad, you should be on the show. And then Snoop, you know, was
One thing led to another.
One thing led to another.
Love
and
it.
he was a fan of the music too, and of the guys. And so he came on, and on our first day of shooting, he turned to me and he was like, yo, dog. I'm gonna do this impression.
You know it's coming.
Canceled. He was like, yo, dog, I just want to let you know, when we rap tonight, I got you. And I was like, what'd you get me? And he was like, no, man, I got you. And I was like, what? Like a jet ski? What are you talking about? And he was like, no, man, we're going to smoke. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to smoke weed. So I immediately did the cool thing and called my mom. And she was like, I've never been prouder. Like, she was so excited. And so I went in my dressing room at the end of the night, and he comes into the room, and he's got his iPad, and he's got a little bag and some other stuff, and he has a candle. And he lights the candle. He goes, gotta set the mood. He puts the candle down. This is all real.
Oh my God.
He takes the iPad and he turns on Enya.
Oh, no way.
Sail Away?
Yeah.
Orinoco Flow?
Yeah, it's a, who can say where the road goes? So that starts playing. I go, what's up with this? He goes, I always get messed up to Enya. And I was like, oh, okay. What? And then he pulls out a joint, all right, and it is literally the thickness of my thumb.
Wow.
And it's just this massive thing. And so I'm like, I'm going to do 2 puffs. You know, I'm going to take 2 puffs, and then I'm out, you know. And I go, is this medical marijuana? And he goes, this is military grade.
Military grade marijuana.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I take it, and I take 1 hit. I take 2 hits. And he goes, yo, son, it's puff, puff, pass. I go, I know, I just puff, puff. I'm going to pass it. He goes, you've been smoking that for 15 minutes.
Wait, what?
I go, I have? He goes, yeah, and you have both. And I was like, what? And I had 2. I had 1 in each hand.
Oh, my God.
And he goes, when's the last time you smoked? And I was like, 11 years ago? And he was like, oh, damn, you're going to die tonight.
That is great.
That is 100% true.
I have no doubt. You're with at that point. My question would be potency level. Well, you found out it was military grade.
Ready to die. Right, I was ready to die.
That's hilarious.
It was intense.
You have listening to some of your stuff you have, and you have some of the podcast stuff and reviewing some of it. You have a lot of great stories. You've been in the industry, but you're also a fan of the people you're encountering, which makes it extra interesting. And you always say, don't meet the people that you idolize or don't, it can be a liability.
Mm-hmm.
But you have a series of William Shatner encounters.
Oh my
that
God.
Are effing hilarious. Could you just give us a little bit of that?
Before the story, just want to remind you, if you're just tuning in, Stephen Kramer Glickman is our guest. He's going to be at Helium tonight, 8 o'clock.
Yeah, I'll be at the Helium Club tonight. I'm so excited. This is actually my first time in Philadelphia.
Oh,
so
man.
I
You have
have
a lot
been.
of fans.
I'm really excited to be here, and it's really great. Sheila Watko from NBC and has been a friend for a couple of years.
Nice.
And
Excellent.
So I'm super excited. Okay, all right. So Shatner, real quick. All right, I'll make this fast. So first encounter was we're doing the what's it called? We're doing Big Time Rush, and we're on the Star Trek stage at Paramount, right?
How cool.
I am so excited. I'm a big Star Trek fan. And I look out the door of our soundstage, and there is William Shatner, and he's with Dr. Phil, and he's just sitting on the back of a golf cart. Yeah. And I know Phil a little bit, from being around, so I'm like, I'm going to go over and say, what's up, So I walk over in front of my whole cast. Yeah. I walk over, I go, hey, what's up, Phil? I go, hey, Mr. Shatner, I'm such a huge fan, and it's such an honor we get to shoot on your sound stage. Would it be okay if I got a picture? And he went, no, meeting me's enough.
Oh my God.
Meeting me is enough.
Yeah.
Classic Shatner. Yeah.
Right.
How did you respond?
I just was like, and then Phil was like, I think you should go. I think you're done.
So
I think you're done here.
encounter number one.
Encounter number one. And then everyone from my cast heard him say that. So anytime I'd be like, let's get a picture, they'd be like, meeting us is enough. The worst.
Yeah.
Okay. Number two story. I go to this charity event, right? And who's there? Who's there hosting the charity event? William Shatner.
And it's like an Arabian, like he's into horses.
Yeah,
right?
it was about horses.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And my mom is with me. I brought my mom, so she's a big fan. And so we finished the event, right? And Shatner did such a great job. And he's sitting outside in his car's running, and he's just texting in the front seat. Car's running, he's texting, window down. Okay. My mom goes, I want to meet him. I want to meet William Shatner. I go, yeah. She goes, oh, come on, it'll be so much fun. I go, I go, all right, Mom, going over. So she walks over and she goes, Mr. Shatner, I just want you to. My mom is the nicest person on the planet, by the way. She walks over, Mr. Shatner, I just wanted to let you know I think it's so wonderful what you're doing with this event and supporting the equestrian community. And I just think that your choices that you've been. And he goes, takes his foot off the brake and rolls away.
No. That is amazing.
2.
I mean,
my mom turns to me. She goes, do not ever tell that story. I go, I'm telling everyone that story. Are you kidding me?
As far as dick moves go, man, that's impressive.
That's an impressive move.
Yeah.
That's like I can't talk to you. I have to go wait over there.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Yeah.
He didn't even drive that far. He just rolled like 10 feet out of her way. So that was kind of, those were the 2 stories for years. And I was like, man, screw this guy. I'm out. Right. And then, I get a phone call from this company, Legion M, and they're like, hey, we're doing this big documentary with William Shatner. And he's getting his handprints put in the cement at the TCL Chinese Theater. Right. Would you consider hosting it? Wow. I was like, did you ask him? They go, no. I go, perfect. I'm in. Oh, I'm so in, right? So I get up. It's CNN is there filming. This is all live. I get up and I go, ladies and gentlemen, we're so excited to be celebrating William Shatner today. Everyone applause. I go, or as I call him, Bill. Because he's my best friend.
Oh, my God.
Bill and I are best friends. And William Shatner goes, what? Like, just turns red, right? I go, aren't we, Bill? Aren't we the best of friends? And he's like, you could see he's steaming, right?
Oh my God, I know.
And I go, we have so much in common, him and I. We have so much in common. He has 5 Emmy Awards, and I have half a Kid's Choice Award. So very similar. We're very similar. And I just start kind of saying nice things about him, but then kind of crapping on myself, right?
Right. You're doing self-deprecating.
I'm being self-deprecating, and it's slay. And he's kind of lightening up to me a little bit, right? And then I go, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our first presenter, the only guy to make it through a knife fight with Gene Shalit. Give it up for Leonard Maltin, right? So everybody that I'm bringing up, I'm like, I've got jokes, and I'm just bang, 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 bang. And it by the time it's over, we've made some sort of connection. I don't know if it's
You're
good.
not friends.
Well,
we're not friends, but we've got something.
He's
right?
tolerated the follow and he realized because the crowd is responding favorably.
Oh, I'm
to you.
killing.
Right.
So yeah, he can't hate on me.
Right.
If I'm killing.
At least publicly.
Yeah. So we finish this thing, and he's sitting alone by himself, and he sees me, and he goes, "Hey, you, get over here." And I'm like, "Oh crap!" And I go over, and he goes, "Grab a seat." And I'm sitting across from him at a table in this empty restaurant. He's having breakfast, and he goes, "Funny." I go, "Oh, thanks, man. Thanks." He goes, "Where are you from?" I go, "My whole family's from Côte Saint Luc in Montreal." He goes, "That's where I'm from." I go, "Oh, I know." I go, "My family's been talking about you since I was born. You know, like you've been the thing that everyone, I go, I think you actually slept with my aunt, to be my great aunt. I'm pretty sure you may have slept with her back in the 60s. He's like, really? I go, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure. Maybe not, but she says that you did. God, I mean, they love you up in Canada, And he's like, so what about your? He goes, what about you? Where's your mom? Where's she at? Where's she live? I go, oh, she's here in San Diego. He goes, oh, that's nice. What about your dad? I go, I have no idea. I don't know where my dad is. He goes, you don't know where your dad is? I go, oh yeah, we haven't spoken in like 15 years. My father and I are on the outs, right? And he goes, oh, that's too bad. I go, yeah, growing up, my father was obsessed with Star Trek. Like he watched your series all the time. Like it was the only thing that he watched, and I couldn't watch it for the last 30 years. I never watched Star Trek because he loved it so much. And then during the pandemic, I decided to watch the whole thing, and I watched every single episode, and my God, I was like, Shatner, you killed it. You're amazing. No wonder Canada loves you so much. I mean, you're a beast. You're amazing on the show. And he goes, so your dad's a fan? Yeah. He goes, well, you know what this means? You got to me first. I go, yeah, I guess I did. He goes, you know what that means? I go, what? He goes, it means if I'm ever sitting on an airplane and a guy sits down next to me and he goes, I'm Stephen Glickman's father, I can turn to him and go, oh yeah, I heard about you. You're a piece of...
Is that not awesome?
And I go, wow. And he goes, well, I'm sure your mom's proud of you. Pats me on the shoulder, gets up and goes, I got to go talk to some Make-A-Wish kids. And then walked off.
Dude, I mean,
it was the best full circle.
That could be a movie.
It was so intense.
It's like pop culture Lord of the Rings. It's a story in 3 parts that ends with the heroic win. It's just unbelievable.
It's a crazy thing.
And he would think to say that.
I mean, to tell me that I made it to him first was like, what? It kind of knocked me off my chair a little bit. It was pretty intense.
Oh, yeah, but you got the pentameter down exactly.
Dude, and the thing is, too, is like I met Leonard Nimoy a couple years before he passed away. Yeah. I got no story. He was like, oh, nice to meet you. I was like, nice to meet you too. It was very nice. That was it. That's the whole story. You know what I mean? It's like Shatner, there's like a whole thing. There's
time.
There's time.
There's
There's
past.
There's passion.
There's a revenge.
There's
There's
retribution.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Tension and redemption.
I know. some Lord of the Rings stuff.
Rocky's got nothing on this story.
Well, listen up, gang. Steven obviously has stories to tell, and he wants to tell them to you tonight. So go to Helium Comedy Club. 8 o'clock is when the show is. One show only. First time ever in Philadelphia.
That's right.
And the weather's beautiful. So get out and go see him. HeliumComedy.com is where you get your tickets. We hope that this isn't your first and only visit to Philadelphia.
Oh,
You'll
I'll
come
be back.
again, please.
I'll be back. You better believe it.
And your podcast, remind people.
Oh, yeah, sure. Check out the nighttime show, the podcast on the things. And, hit me up on the socials. Stephen Glickman, Stephen Glickman on Instagram and TikTok and the things. And shout out to Devil's Alley. I went there yesterday.
Devil's Alley?
I went to that restaurant yesterday.
I haven't been to Devil's
Marissa
Alley.
knows. We don't know, but
Okay, she's our restaurateur.
Oh, there was a guy. I walked in. And there was this guy. It was the host, and he saw me, and he just went, "Oh my God, Gustavo!" Like freaked out, and I was like, it was right after I landed. I literally landed, walked the street, saw a restaurant, walked in, and was just greeted. And I was like,
Welcome to Philly.
All right, I'm happy to be
You're
here.
home. All right,
Thanks so
excellent.
much.
Thank you, Stephen Kramer Glickman, guys. Helium Comedy Club. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. Stay with us.
And that's your traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
Thank you, Kathy. We have two guests in our studio. They are the stars of the show that is playing at the Academy of Music now through February 18th, and you can catch the show Tuesday through Sundays. We would like to welcome from Mrs. Doubtfire, Maggie, Lakis, and Rob McClure. Good morning, guys.
Is it too late to enter Mrs. Doubtfire into the Cardboard Classic?
Oh,
you could. We'd be honored. Yeah.
All the years we've done it, I don't think there's ever been a Mrs. Doubtfire sled. There
We've
could
had
be easily.
Wizard of Oz. We've had the Munsters. We've had also every type of movie riff you could possibly have. But Mrs. Doubtfire is one just begging to be done.
Come on.
You could have costume changes going down the run.
So the live show, the Mrs. Doubtfire, and I like to get this out. A musical?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
it's full on musical. Absolutely. I love that fact when they've taken a movie, a show, and given it the musical treatment. It takes it to another level. They've done it with things like Hairspray and have had tremendous success with that.
Yeah.
And you guys you're from the area, right?
Yes, I am born and raised in Philly, and I met this guy in 2005, and I converted him.
Yeah, I fell in love with her and Philadelphia at the same time. In 2006, I've lived here ever since.
So you were doing a production of, you met in a production of Grease, correct?
Yeah. We were Duty and Frenchie in Grease at the Lenape Regional Performing Arts Center in Marlton, New Jersey in 2006. And yeah,
we joked that we met in Greece, but not in the
not that
country.
Greece.
Country.
Yeah,
Not a classic romantic.
Yeah, Danny Zuko Grease, not beautiful Grease.
And then it was off and running. But to Preston's question, and I thought this is kind of cool reading about the production, because to do something on this level, you have to flesh it out. But your producer, I guess, the people behind the show, incorporated deleted scenes from the movie, correct?
Yeah.
Which I think is cool. So if you're a Mrs. Doubtfire fan, you're going to see aspects of the story you hadn't seen before.
Yeah, the composers were looking for, what would make this story sing. If we're going to do a musical adaptation, it needs a good reason to sing. And a lot of what they found on the editing room floor was a lot of the emotional stuff, a lot of what the kids were going through in the divorce, and a lot of the real emotional core of that divorce story was kind of edited out in favor of Robin Williams' antics, which we all love, right? But it's what ended up having to get cut. So when they look at what's going to sing well, they go like, oh, there's this whole emotional underbelly that got cut from the movie that sings beautifully, and that's really what the musical's all about.
That makes sense, because it is at its heart initially a sad story of a guy so devastated he'd be driven to do this.
How far a father would go for his
by
kids,
the dissolution of a family. I think that makes perfect sense when you think about it. What better way to convey the emotion than with the music?
Yeah, and we're finding that there's just as many tears as there are laughs at the show. I mean, you're going to get all we talk about this all the time, that you're going to get all the laughs that you're hoping for.
Yeah, you're going to get the iconic moments. You're going to get the pie in the face, the dancing with the vacuum cleaner.
I'm going to light myself on fire.
You're going to get that.
The dancing with the vacuum cleaner, when they cut to it, even if it's a commercial or whatever, it still cracks me up. It's great. Now, when you take on something as iconic as that, Rob, are you playing it your own way, or do you do due diligence to the great work that Robin Williams did?
Yeah, I mean, we all have Mrs. Doubtfire in our head, right? And I know that any person coming to see this has their arms folded when the curtain goes up and goes like, "Don't break this, dude." You know what I mean? I know that. So, and I don't want to get that wrong, and I think to serve Robin Williams, I don't want to do a Robin Williams impression. I think that doesn't do him credit or me credit. So, but I do, we all have that voice in our head. We all know what she sounds like. And there's a certain moment in the show every night where I feel the audience sign the permission slip for me to borrow that character for 2.5 hours.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a really magical thing to feel them go like, okay, you can have her for a second. We trust you with her. Don't break her. And then, by the end of the show, they're all laughing and crying, and we can take you somewhere new, which is cool.
Listen, on a technical side of things, when you're talking about live theater, anything can and will go wrong. You were talking about a show where you've got to do a ton of costume changes.
31.
I would imagine. Oh my
gosh.
God.
31 a show.
Is there ever a night where it goes flawlessly?
No.
It can't be.
Well, you have one that takes, you only have 18 seconds.
Yeah, so we do that famous restaurant scene from the movie. But what's so great about theater is that the theater magic is not magic.
Right.
Is that it's real.
It's in real time.
So if I have 18 seconds, I have 18 seconds. Right. And the audience knows that no one's yelling cut and going to a trailer for 5 hours.
Do you get recognition applause because of pulling? You'd have to.
Yeah,
how could you not be impressed?
And it happens in front of the audience.
Maggie,
they kind of show what goes into this remarkable transformation. So the audience gets to see and sweat along with them to see how hard it is to keep up with this, this ruse that he's
Sure, yeah.
I'm glad you guys touched on the sweetness of the movie, because there are a few points where it really does. It's a tearjerker, and it talks about the quote that lives in my head all the time is when you're talking about his kids growing up, but as Mrs. Doubtfire, and he says, as they tend to do. And my son is 16 or 17 now, and I think about he's never going to be that little kid ever again, right? And you can't prevent the passage of time, and they nail that in the movie. These kids are growing up, and he doesn't want to miss out on that. He wants to be the father that he thinks he should be.
Yeah, and when you hear something like that, right? If you're a composer, you go, that's a song.
Yeah.
That's a song. That sings.
That's the hook.
So anytime there's a person going like, Mrs. Doubtfire, because people tend to do that now when they say, we're making this into a musical. They go like, why do they keep messing with my favorite things, right? So we know that we have to get it right. And it needs a reason. The musical needed a reason to exist. And you just got at the heart of what really makes it sing beautifully.
Chris Columbus directed the original, and he has Home Alone has a penchant for getting emotion into comedy and even broad comedy. As you're doing this, Mag, I mean, every performance you're going through, you're going to have to project a guy you're clearly happy married to, the divorce.
Yeah.
So can it be taxing?
I'm going to be honest, it's actually really fun. What a gift. We know each other better than anybody else. Yeah. We've been together 18 years. And we have this history. So when we're on stage together, there's such trust. And unlike Daniel Hillard, who's constantly getting fired because he's selfish and awful to work with, Rob is wonderful to work with.
Right.
So we have similar processes. So it's really wonderful to kind of trust someone on stage, and I can just scream at him, and he doesn't afterwards feel like, what's wrong? We're just playing. We're just telling a story.
Although there are nights where I'll say did I do something? It was extra believable tonight.
Yeah, no, I can't help but there'd be those moments where you'd have to go, wow, there was a little bit too much gusto in that. But with that, as you guys perform, and I think I was reading in the Inquirer that you each get the opportunity to look at each other on stage and go, wow, they're really good.
It's a cool thing.
Yeah.
It's a cool thing, when you've been together this long, to have 8 reminders a week where where one of our characters is watching the other character either belt out a song or have a crazy technical moment, or she gets to see the costume change go well. And you get daily reminders. You go like, wow, my partner's cool.
Would there ever be a second guess on working together as a married couple? Is that something that would be for? Obviously this works, but was there ever a pause? Because it is it's a grind for when you're doing a live show.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and it can agitate.
And there are do's and don'ts. There are do's and don'ts.
Absolutely.
Like what?
don't give each other notes.
Yeah, exactly.
The other person does not want to hear it.
Exactly. The other person, leave it to the director.
Yeah.
Because you think you're helping. In that one part, you think it's like that divorce is going to stop being fake real soon if you keep giving each other notes.
Wait, when did you learn that? Was that an object lesson or?
No, I mean it was pretty early on.
There was one moment in the last, because this is our third tour. We've worked together 7 times since our third tour, and there was one moment in the last tour where I think you asked me a question, but it wasn't really a question. And I was like,
Soft
"Are you about
suggestion?
to give me a note?" And then that was all.
And
That's
that was
all
it.
it
It
took.
never happened again.
Nope, you heard me, and then it went away.
The worst thing,
but
the worst thing in a relationship I learned, or my wife and I did a little couples therapy early on. Don't ask the question.
Yeah,
it's always
the wrestling.
No.
I have a question though about the musical side of things. So I remember seeing an interview one time with Mel Brooks, and he was talking about creating the musical for the producers.
Yeah,
and he said that you need to at times surrender some of your best scenes to song, even though you wrote them to not be that way originally. Now we have to come up with this musically to represent it. So what are some of the famous movie scenes that we know of that are in musical form? Is like the cooking scene where she puts out the fires on the boobs.
It's a huge, believe it or not, it's a tap number. So what they've done for the cooking scene, it's a song called Easy Peasy. And rather than Daniel watching, Julia Childs on television to try and learn how to make lobster, in this, I have my iPad on the cooking counter, and I keep yelling like, Siri, show me how to do whatever. Show me. And out of the kitchen cabinets and things appear those chefs.
Okay.
Who help me cook a meal.
Oh, that's great.
Which ends up being this like gigantic tap dance number where I do indeed light myself on fire 8 shows a week.
If I may jump in, how's that handled? Using
there's a whole rig inside my costume and a remote that runs down my sleeve that while I'm tap dancing, I have to unhook and put in my hand and prime and light. And it's a whole thing. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. One of my other favorite moments that they've musicalized is, you remember in the movie when Robin Williams is playing with the dinosaurs that all the TV people leave and he's left as the janitor by himself and he does the I eat wood. So they were trying to think like, how do you musicalize something where someone's by themselves? Like it's just them and them being brilliant on their own. So what they've done is they've given me a loop machine, like an RC505 looper.
Sure.
And I create a song by myself with this looper. So it was a moment like Robin Williams getting to improv and do all this fun stuff. I get to do the musical version of that with the loop machine.
Oh, that is cool.
And it's live every night, because a lot of people wonder like, is it recorded? No, he does it live. And if it goes wrong, it goes wrong. And he has to like, oh my God, reset the machine in front of an audience.
Oh, that's hilarious.
But it's so fun. I mean, those are those great moments where they really do find a golden reason to transfer something into a musical form.
Well, there's some, I forget who was, one of the producers was talking about it, a Broadway producer, about the inclination to just tack a song on. We're going to put a song, and then the real ones, the ones that succeed, find, as you say, the reason, the transition where music serves it best. But with that also comes, you talk about, there's something about theater and about that, especially with this show, apparently, you're going to be getting what you love, an enhancement as far as additional fleshing out of scenes that, for more motion, but you're on that tightrope. Anything can happen.
For sure. Maggie's got one of my favorite songs in the show. You want to talk about Let Go?
Yeah, so playing Miranda, it's a bit of a tricky role because we want the audience on his side because it's called Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
But you also don't want her to be cast as a villain.
Right.
So I think they very smartly withhold her side of the story for this till the second act, and there's a moment in the second act where she kind of opens up to Mrs. Doubtfire and tells her side of the story where she really didn't want a divorce. She wanted to make it work, and he just wouldn't meet her halfway, and he's forced to sit there and listen and hear her for the first time, even though she took him to couples therapy. She tried to get him to listen, he just wouldn't hear her, so he has to listen.
It's this beautiful, brutally honest moment.
It's why you say that.
That's kind of left out of the film. And they could have, the film is great as it is, but I think that's a tiny little element that's missing from that.
I think the way it succeeds is because Sally Field, you naturally love.
I love her,
but it is something where you don't, as you say, it's actually more difficult for you to get that nuance because you can't be just this demon who, of course, why didn't he, it has to, you have to, because you are technically the right one in all this. And he's the one who learns the lesson.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a delicate balance because it's a show about divorce, but it's also a comedy. So you're trying to always walk that tightrope walk. But in the beginning, we're yelling at each other and mad at each other, and she's done with him. So you kind of meet us at like 11.
The worst moment.
So, but trying to walk that line and
a divorce is an interesting opening number for
Real quick though, I want to go to this phone call because Katina's on the line and she saw the show. Hi, Katina. Good morning.
Hi. Good morning.
Hi. What did you want to mention?
Hi. I came yesterday. I knew I was going to be laughing. I came to laugh. I did not expect to be crying and have a couple ugly cries.
Never ugly. Never ugly.
I was crying in the front. I was in the front, so you probably saw some of it. But I just was very touched by your chemistry, first of all, and just the amazing, just the songs and just the pull on our heartstrings.
So you didn't expect the emotional roller coaster that you would go through?
Absolutely. I mean, I was laughing till I was crying, but then I was also crying from all the different things that you guys were bringing up as a family. So thank you so much, and I enjoyed it. And
thank you,
thank you.
That's a great discovery
Excellent.
when
Thank
you
you,
can go.
Katina.
Yeah, when you can go to there's something about well, Preston and I are huge fans of La La Land, and when a musical or when it does it right, like that whole last sequence in La La Land, where the what could have been lives, and you realize it should not have been. It had to be this way. Again,
they could have stayed together, though, man.
Still furious.
But there's just something about the live essence of that. Again, you're laughing, but here somebody was moved to tears and laughter. So
it's the best
a home
compliment,
run.
and that's the thing. It's a happy ending where they don't get back together, and that was new when the movie came out to celebrate that this is their new happy family is just different.
Yeah, I remember being jarred by that initially, because I expected everybody's going to get back together and a Hollywood ending or whatever.
Right,
and
Parent Trap.
Yes, and there's the line, another line from Mrs. Doubtfire where she says sometimes they get back together and sometimes they don't, dear. And I was like, oh my God. They might not get back together, but it's unresolved. You don't quite know what happens after the movie ends. Yeah. And I like that in retrospect. The way that is the ending, not to give it away, but is the ending for the musical different than it is for the movie?
Not in the fact that they don't stay together. And that was important because I feel like this movie was a touchstone for the children of divorce.
Yeah.
It taught them that is possible.
It's healthier. It's healthier to know that.
Exactly.
And also because there and we talked about this for a while. There was a spate of movies where, with Liar Liar, where Cary Elwes was actually a good dude.
Yes.
He was a really good
100%.
dude. And it's like yes. And so you have to be able to see, but sometimes things just aren't supposed to be.
Yeah, that they're better off apart.
Yeah.
And they can become better people and better parents, and you can have a richer family. You just have to redefine what family means. And
right.
And the musical has expanded that even more. Updates from the 93 movie is remember the Harvey Firestein character, his brother?
Yes,
yeah. Be
great.
careful with this when she's an old woman.
Yes.
Remember that? They have taken those two characters and really brought them into the family. So him and his partner are on their own adoption journey that are running parallel to the family. And so by the time you get to Mrs. Doubtfire's speech to that little girl named Katie on the Mrs. Doubtfire show in the end, that speech now brings us into 2024.
Oh, that's great.
So you guys opened last night. I'm sorry, Press. You opened last night.
Yeah.
And so is there a show tonight?
Yes.
All right, so how taxing is the schedule for you guys?
Well, you should ask him that question.
Well, you guys are pros. You've been doing this.
It's harder worker. It's hard. 8 shows a week is no joke.
Yeah.
It's no joke. 31 costume changes a show times 8 shows a week times a year.
Pyrotechnics.
Exactly.
Your knockers are on fire.
Yeah, you might see some breakdancing.
Yeah, Mrs. Doubtfire might breakdance in this. I know. Wow. Why you have to come see. Why do I get into that? But it's a workout. But I keep on telling everybody, I could be this tired from doing something far less fun.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's great.
By the way, I want to point out also, Steve and Kathy, Rob was in an episode of Servant. I was reading in IMDb. So you've done some local stuff.
Oh my God!
Yes.
Yeah, watch the whole series. We're
I was
friends.
I was the creepy kid's birthday party guy, Mr. Smiley. Remember Mr. Smiley?
You were terrific. You were terrific.
Oh my God! You came to entertain the children.
Yeah, sure did.
And she swore I was one of them, didn't she?
Yeah. Oh, she freaked the F out. No, that's
funny.
It's great. Also, Maggie, so like talk about being local. You worked at that video game store that was
on South Street. It was called
Game.
Got Game. Yeah, now it's Atomic City Comics. I worked there for a couple of years. When we met each other, we were like doing the grind. We were broke. Yeah. I was working at Starbucks. I was lifeguarding, and I was working at a video game store.
But also, I had met this musical theater actress who also was like restoring someone's Atari, and I was like, "Marry me."
It doesn't get better than that.
Wow. Well, the Mrs. Doubtfire musical is showing at the Academy of Music, and February 18th goes now through February 18th, runs Tuesdays through Sundays. So please, I mean, Rob, it's killing Rob. You need to go see him. This is a lot of physical work for him. And we're so happy that you guys are having great success with this, and sounds like a wonderful show. And we continued, man. We were happy you had a moment to come by here.
Oh,
today.
thank you so much for having us.
Nice to bring it home.
This is a thrill for me.
All right, so Academy of Music tickets available at ensembleartsphilly.org. Let's hear it for Maggie Lakis and Rob McClure.
Thank you, everybody.
You got it. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We will come back in just a second. Stay with us, please.
Traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
All right, thank you, Kathy. Steve, you want to mention something?
Just a quick thank you because Meredith Trotter, who brought by Stephen Kramer Glickman, from a Helium, she also brought in these chocolate bombs. I've never had a really good one. Apparently, make hot chocolate. Yes. And came from a friend of hers, Katrina Potter. She sent a whole bunch in for us from the Baking Bean. They look awesome. And so I'm going to try my first, what has been told is a quality hot chocolate bomb.
Excellent.
All right.
Thank you, Miss Potter. All right. We will
Mrs. Potter. You got to put the elk on.
Absolutely. Yeah. We'll do the B file. Here we go.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
All right, let's share some stories. We'll start with this one. I remember this story. It's a follow-up. Former Indiana daycare director Tanya Rochelle Voris was sentenced to 6 months in jail for administering melatonin gummies to children without parental consent. Voris charged with 11 felony counts of neglect and of a dependent and 6 misdemeanor counts of reckless supervision, pleaded guilty and received a sentence for her actions at Kids Life Child Care Ministry.
So let me get this straight. You just can't randomly give medication to kids without their parents' permission?
It's a world gone mad,
What the
Steve.
hell's going on?
She gave the gummies to 17 children, ranging from infants to 4-year-olds, to induce sleep during nap time.
Why not just use a hammer?
Voris started without parental consent after a positive response from one of the parents' request for pediatric-strength melatonin. The undisclosed side effects prompted a police report by a church pastor emphasizing the importance of parental knowledge in administering medications to children.
Seahorses. Seahorses. Going on a seahorse party.
Seahorses forever. It's not that bad though. Melatonin.
No, it's
you
not.
Can't.
I
get it. I
You
get it.
can't give a kid who is not yours.
But it's not a prescription. It's over the counter. I'm not defending
I
her.
know
I'm
what you're
just
saying.
I know.
It's not like it was heroin, but you could have given like NyQuil, which is over the counter as well.
Benadryl.
Yeah. You can't even give an asprin, anything like that without
Seahorses.
forever.
You should take it to the seahorse party.
All right.
That's just lying.
And Aurora, here's another one of these. An Aurora trash collector had barely started his pickups on February 2nd when he heard a strange noise coming from the back of the garbage truck. Someone moaning. Mixed in with the loads of trash was
You're a goddamn genius.
was a middle-aged man trapped inside the back truck. I'm assuming that was the wrong
It was an
place.
accident.
Trapped inside of the back of the truck. Firefighters were called to the scene just after 5 a.m. to rescue the man who was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Officials say they don't know how long the man was inside the truck or how he got in it. He could have been inside a dumpster that was emptied into the truck. And if this is just a week after that woman I told you about in New Hampshire was in a dumpster or was loaded into a garbage truck, and she was critically injured after the truck compacted the truck on top of her 4 times. So
the fact that she survived, because it does happen where people get killed every year. Because you'll have vagrants or whatever that will go to sleep in the trash and get killed.
Yep. A man in Colorado allegedly bit the tip off of an officer's finger during an arrest on Saturday. The incident unfolded after officers responded to a possible domestic violence call. A witness said the man, identified as Tyron Brooks, was in the street yelling about someone pushing his friend down. A witness described him as out of control. When officers arrived, they saw a man standing over a woman sitting on the ground. She appeared terrified. The man was standing with one foot in front of the other and was moving his hands as though he was ready to fight, all the while yelling erratically. Officers asked to speak with Brooks, but he refused to move away from the woman. He then turned toward the woman and put his face near hers, yelling at her again, then allegedly put his hands over her mouth when she tried to speak to officers. They grabbed him. They grabbed his arms to prevent him from striking her, and then he put his hands towards his waistband. They believe maybe he was going for a gun. They brought him to the ground. He then turned over on his back where he was allegedly able to bite through an officer's left ring finger.
Whoa.
And completely severed the tip of his finger. Brooks then turned his head and spat out the tip of the finger. He was eventually handcuffed and arrested with the help of other responding officers. He's been booked into jail on investigative hold for second-degree assault on a peace officer. Here's another follow-up. The environmentally invasive descendants of 4 cocaine hippos from Colombian drug lord Pablo Escobar's private zoo now have their eyes set on a new target, and that's people. There have been reports of hippos invading schoolyards as well as terrorizing local fishing communities, with some residents requiring hospital care after ferocious attacks.
Seahorses.
Many are now worried that the hippos, which have since multiplied to a population of nearly 170 in 40 years,
That's
will
insane.
become an even bigger threat if they can reproduce at the same speed.
I mean, they're deadly.
This comes just 3 months after Colombia's government pledged millions of dollars on a plan to cull the nearly 170 hippos, as they have become one of the largest invasive species in the world, destroying South America's soil.
We have a plan to take care of the cocaine hippos,
while also poisoning waterways and killing fish. The original 4 hippos, 3 females and 1 male, were part of the hundreds of exotic animals at Escobar's private zoo, Hacienda Napoles, from the 1980s. After the drug lord's death in 1993, animals from the abandoned estate were donated to other zoos, except the hippos, who have since reproduced uncontrollably, so they still can't get a handle on
Does that not
this.
boggle your mind?
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, a Denver man believes that he was a victim of a likely prank that left him toppled over inside a portable toilet. Stefano Chieto said that he was on his daily walk Thursday afternoon. He stopped to use porta potty at Halleck Park. He said, I got in, and after a little while, I felt the thing moving. I had no idea what was happening. I started shouting, hey, hey, and I just kept moving, and it fell to the side. He said that he was able to find the door and crawl out as a man and his son got out of their car and ran over to help. He said, yeah, I think it was a couple of teenagers. We saw them. They pushed the portable potty on its side and then ran away. He injured his back in the fall and has since, thankfully, that he was not hurt seriously. He believes it was likely a prank, but he said the situation was no laughing matter. He said, my message would be, imagine if you were inside the portable potty. It may sound funny when you're a kid, but it's not when you're the guy inside. It's not funny at all. So they haven't been able to track down who did it.
Well, yeah, probably won't.
It is pretty funny if you see it. I've you've seen it on Jackass, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, if you're doing it to your friends and stuff, like
that's
if you're doing a complete stranger.
Yeah, different story. One last story, and we will end with this one. A Florida man was arrested after allegedly lying in order to enter the scene of a plane crash in Clearwater. You know, the one where a few people were killed.
Yes, trailer park.
Police claim that Joseph Calavorte Schifano, identified as medical staff to cross the crime scene tape on Thursday, After he ducked under the tape, he could not provide proof of employment.
It's okay, I'm a doctor guy.
Officials then told him to move along. Moments later, he attempted to cross under the tape again.
I meant a plane guy.
He reportedly wanted to capture footage for a media company, so he was trying to be sneaky about it. Yeah. He was released on a $500 bail, so you can't do that. And that is what I have in the bizarre file for you. All right, Kathy, need a number caller for secret text word, please.
11.
11! All right, 215-263-WMMR, 11th caller. You got to know the secret text word, so call only if you do. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us. It's disarm.
Disarm.
I don't know. Disarm.
That's where I get my gasoline.
You gasoline to disarm. All right, whatever, man. All right. It's Wednesday. We're working on it. All right, we were looking for a winner for our secret text word this morning. Kathy called out caller number 11. So we are going to go to Jeff, who happens to be that number caller. Hi there, Jeff.
Hey, how are you?
Awesome, buddy. All right, let's set you up with something. What is our secret text word, please?
Carve.
Carve is correct. Yep, hang on a moment. Carving up the pack. Because we got some lift tickets for Montage Mountain for Friday, March 1st for you. Hang on there, fella. Cardboard Classic is happening that day, and those lift tickets will also get you to the Collective Soul Show that's taking that place that evening as part of a Mountain Fest at Montage. And we would also like to congratulate our random texter, and that is Debbie Fulmer of Quakertown, PA. Debbie, congratulations, and we will see you at Montage Mountain for the Cardboard Classic. WMMR.com for all of the details. All right, we're going to give away for the lesson question today a free massage or facial gift card at Hand & Stone Massage and Facial Spa. Question that we will go with is this. During Jesus' time, what were underpants made of?
That's true.
215-263-WMMR. Do you know the answer to that? Did you hear that? During Jesus' time, what were underpants made out of? 215-263-WMMR. Call now.
The trash business is a gold mine. 93.3 WMMR with Preston and Steve's Hollywood Trash.
Brought to you this morning by CSB Media Arts Center. Train for a career in broadcast media, web development, social media, marketing, and filmmaking at CSB Media Arts Center. They're in Cherry Hill. Visit GoCSB.com. That's GoCSB.com. What's going on this morning, Steve?
Well, TMZ reporting that an NTSB investigation has determined that the door that blew off a Boeing 737 MAX airplane during an Alaska Airlines flight was missing 4 bolts. The NTSB goes on to recommend that Boeing consult with IKEA because whenever you build their stuff, you always end up with extra bolts.
Oh my God.
Snoop Dogg and Master P are accusing Walmart of hiding their new Snoop cereal product line in favor of prioritizing Post Foods cereal line. Walmart is breathlessly trying to rectify the issue in order to avert potential shopping cart drive-bys.
Some of that real sticky, icky.
Yeah, ooh.
Oh, wait.
Tom Holland announcing he'll be tackling the role of Romeo in a brand new West End theater production of Romeo and Juliet. Holland says Romeo will be different than the other portrayals in that when he is in imminent danger, his Montague senses will start tingling. That's the Hollywood Trash.
All righty, we need an answer. We want to find out during Jesus' time what underpants were made out of. 215-263-WMMR, and we're going to go to Brian for an answer. Hi there, Brian.
Good morning,
Good morning to see you, Brian. All right, during Jesus' time, what were underpants made out of?
Rocks.
Rocks, yes. Hang on, my man.
That'd be uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable. A little abrasive, I would think. So you got it right, and we are going to give you a massage or facial from Hand & Stone Massage and Facial Spa. Love, pamper, repeat this Valentine's Day at your local Hand & Stone Massage and Facial Spa. You can get a free massage or facial gift card with a spa package. Search for the location near you to pick up the gift certificate or the perfect gift, and restrictions apply. You can see the spa for full details.
Now, Preston and Steve's Music News on 93.3 WMMR.
Yeah. All right, just a couple of things to mention. AC/DC looks to be teasing a tour announcement. They posted a short video featuring only their lightning bolt logo with the words, "Are you ready?" along with a snippet of the 1990 song of the same name. They played the Power Trip Festival on October 1st, but they have not toured since 2016.
Holy, I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah, it's been a while since they've done a full tour, so we'll see if that's what this indeed means. Carlos Santana has announced additional performances of an intimate evening with Santana in Vegas. It's a residency, and they have added dates in September, October, and November, like several dates in each of those months. Santana's residency is in its 12th year at House of Blues.
Kadosh, kadosh, kadosh.
Yeah, and tickets go on sale this Friday, February 9th.
Who was the female guitarist that he had with him? I think we interviewed her, or had some sort of association. We knew the one who played on the Michael Jackson tribute show out in Vegas, but there was a Santana-associated guitarist, and I know we had some sort of connection or interviewed her. Anything coming to mind?
No.
All right.
I'm not really sure.
Sticky icky.
Sorry, man. Some of that sticky icky.
Some of that real sticky icky icky. Ooh-wee.
All right, the Grateful Dead, who formed nearly 60 years ago, have broken the record for for the Billboard Top 40 albums, the most Billboard Top 40 albums by any act in history.
That's pretty amazing.
That's just because they haven't stopped
I know.
since 60 years ago. Dave's Picks Volume 49 debuted at number 25 on this week's Billboard 200. Marks the Dead's 59th album to make the top 40. That's incredible.
Is there something up to our 47th album?
The album consists of 2 complete Grateful Dead shows at Stanford University's Frost Amphitheater in 1985, and a new volume comes out quarterly.
I love and am fascinated by the people who, are just diehards and continue to be. They never really spoke to me that much, but I love the good vibes that they put forward.
And then here's a pretty cool thing. It was, I believe, 60 years ago today that the Beatles landed in America, JFK Airport.
Wow.
60 years ago today that they landed there, and I was watching some of the...
Where the hell are we? We didn't turn left to Greenland.
I remember that footage is iconic of them coming down, and I mean... obviously, Brian Epstein had orchestrated one of the great PR campaigns of all time. So there was a huge throng of screaming girls at the airport waiting for them.
Yeah, that press conference they do.
Yeah, and they were so charismatic.
When who are you guys going to get your hair cut? And then George just goes, I had one yesterday. And the crowd, they just ate it up. The reporters ate up every bit of it. And yeah, it's amazing that it was 60 years ago that whole thing happened. And I watch loads of music documentaries, and almost everybody that's of a certain age, a musician talking about their desire to be a professional musician, making this their career, point to, it was that day when I saw them on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I wasn't born yet, but I've seen the classic footage, but so many people have said that magical day, which is the reason that they flew in, because they were going to start touring, and their first stop was doing that. And then they went to Washington, D.C. and did a show there. But it was, it's still to this day is just one of those things everybody goes, it was the switch that was flipped.
I remember there was a little honorary thing they were doing at my retirement home for me. AARP was putting it on, and I walked into the other room, and the TV was on.
Yeah, that black and white in the corner. Yeah, you saw that? Yeah.
Nice piece fruit.
Nice piece fruit.
There you go. We haven't had the sponge cake yet.
But it was
the Beatles are on in the other room there.
It was pretty amazing.
So it became my normal day. And the Beatles are on in the other room there.
Beatles.
Yeah.
That's it in music news. Nick did find this, a Wikipedia page for Gina Gleason. And I think, is that the girl that was in Clitalica?
I believe so.
I think that was her.
Yeah, she played with Carlos Steve out in House
that was
of Blues.
her.
Yeah.
And that was her.
Super talented.
Same person.
Yeah.
Okay. What's she up to now? Does it say?
I don't know. Is Miss Talica or the other name still a thing?
I don't think so.
She played with Jello Biafra for a stretch as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. She's good.
All right.
She's in another tribute band called You Goo.
Is it a Goo Goo
U2.
Dolls? Oh, U2. I'm sorry.
Goo!
Yeah.
You.
Goo!
All right. Well, with that, we will take a break, and we will come back, and we will... My my God.
Wow.
We will wrap up our program, I think, right?
I got scared.
We're doing, okay,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you. Jack and Bob are here, and
Yes.
they both say yes, I believe. So thank you.
Yes.
All right. We'll be back.
I don't know.
Gino's always left out of the loop.
Hang on, yeah.
Yes.
And then,
Yes.
and then, what was the other one?
I don't know.
Okay. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us. 93.3 WMMR. Beautiful people, stay high. The full title of that song. It is 10:26 a.m. It is a Wednesday morning, coming to a close for us. Beautiful day, weather-wise, 48 degrees, lots of sunshine. Next few days are looking even better. 53 tomorrow, 56 on Friday. Saturday's 58 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of. I wonder what the records are in February.
Yeah.
Just figured we'd throw that in there.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
That's what Mr. Roboto said I'm going to go for it. That would be a good question, Preston. It's definitely up there. I love this.
By the way, Preston, you had said something earlier this morning. You said you picked the wrong day.
5 hours later,
5
we're going to
hours
play
later,
this?
we do have proof of what you did say this morning. If you want to,
All right, this is
walk back your
in
statements.
the news at the beginning of the show. And today is Monday, February 7th. Good morning, Kathy.
Okay. Yeah, you did say it.
I did say Monday. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right on top of it.
Would you like to
10:30.
retract your statement?
I did at that very moment. I interrupted the news to say that I got that wrong, so I retracted my.
Care to revise your BS statement, sir? Steve, the highest temperature ever recorded in Philadelphia in February was February 21, 2018, 77 degrees.
Wow. Got a little ways to go. I'll take a 77 if you got it.
That would have felt bizarre.
Yeah, I don't remember those when they happened. In 2017, there were a couple of days where it was 73 in February. So yeah, it does happen.
I remember one of the most gorgeous days was, I think it was one of the St. Patrick's Day for one of the St. Patrick's Day shows. You remember
I
that
do
day?
remember that.
It was the most glorious weather. It was just unbelievable.
Steve, you know why I remember that is because we left the broadcast and I walked to another bar because it was the first day of March Madness, and I met up with some friends, and I was like, what the hell is going on? This is fantastic.
This is great.
I remember taking a nap in the parking lot of the Rocky Run YMCA that day. It was such a beautiful day.
Did you leave your home and go over?
No. But I wanted to go and work out, and I'm sitting in the parking lot. And I was like, I got to take a nap real quick. I'm really, really tired.
This is beautiful.
Yeah. I remember that.
And that was on St. Patrick's Day?
That was on St. Patrick's Day.
Okay. All right, well, we would like to thank the following people for being on our program, being in our studio. Stephen Kramer, Glickman. He's going to be at Helium Comedy Club tonight. He was a ball of energy, super nice guy, lots of great stories.
I think you're going to have a good time if you go see him tonight.
And it's his first time ever in Philadelphia, so he really wants a great crowd. HeliumComedy.com, and he used to be on Big Time Rush.
Yes.
Back in the day on Nickelodeon. And then we had Rob McClure and Maggie Lakis.
They were terrific.
Who are from Mrs. Doubtfire, and they play the two lead roles in that show. It's now a musical at the Academy of Music, and it plays through February 18th, and tickets and information available at ensembleartsphilly.org. They were great.
Yeah.
They're really nice talking.
Charismatic.
Let's see. We need to do the letter of the day. Case, you good with that?
I got you.
Here we go.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Now, the Daily Letter.
The Preston and Steve Show, brought to you today by the letter.
I, as in Indigo Girls.
I. Okay, the letter I. Preston and Steve Show.
You couldn't replicate it.
Can't do that if I tried. And we're going to give away $500 from the Bagster.
The Bagster.
It is the bag by far the most convenient and affordable way to help with your home cleanup. Go buy it at any home improvement store. Fill it and simply schedule your collection, and it is gone. Clean it up with the Bagster dumpster in a bag.
I saw a Bagster in the wild a week or two ago, and I just was laughing my ass off because I'm like, the whole rest of the time.
I have used the Bagster. They are really good.
Yeah, dude.
They are. They're awesome.
All right. Well, I would. Out in the wild.
Out in the wild, yeah.
All right.
Of course, there's the spotted Bagster. The rarest of bags.
All right. I will take a moment to thank our sponsor. Preston and Steve Show has been brought to you today. Our good friends at Dunkin', and the Preston and Steve Show runs on Dunkin'. Tomorrow is going to be a fun day because we will have a couple of in-studio guests. Number one, Mr. Jay Moore.
Nice.
Love Jay Moore.
Is stopping by the studio. And then Joe Watson.
Yeah.
The Broad Street Bullies is going to be here in our studio as well. He's got a book out, so we'll spend some time with him. And we're getting closer and closer to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And more Galentine's Day invites, all that stuff. That's it. We're done. Rage on. Have yourself a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow, friend. Bye-bye.